At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Is Westwood One Sports Night. Here's Josh Graham.
I'm Josh Graham. That's Lynnell Willingham. We're with you until 3 a.m. Eastern Time on Westwood One Sports Night. Shortly after this, I'll be joining our Westwood One Sports team at the Final Four in Indianapolis. Make sure to check out Bleck and Abdallah. Check out Brad Evans and company. This show will be there Thursday and Friday. But the basketball can wait, because in football, Lynnell, Fernando Mendoza threw at Indiana's Pro Day in Bloomington today. By all accounts, he seemed to impress. Lynnell, what was your takeaway from what you saw?
Yeah, he totally made me. His pro day today, watching him throw the football against air, totally changed my thought process on Fernando Mendoza. I think he's 110% worth the number one overall pick, and it feels like a guy that could be one of the best quarterback prospects that we've had in the last decade. You look at what he did in Indiana, winning the Heisman. He is everything that I would want, and 1,020% worth the number one overall pick. Happy April Fool's Day, ladies and gentlemen. I would never in my life say that. It meant absolutely nothing. He's throwing versus air, for crying out loud. And he better look good today. Because remember the whole hubbub about him choosing not to throw at the combine in Indianapolis because he wanted to have his receivers. 3 balls hit the ground today. They were all drops. Doesn't really move the needle for me that he had a good pro day. That's what he's supposed to do.
Just realize there still is one more hour in April Fool's Day.
Someone typed in the chat. What's going on?
It worked out. Let's ask this question right off the rip. Do you think Fernando Mendoza is the number one player in this draft? 310-840-4910, because you say absolutely, positively, 110% he isn't. And I couldn't disagree more. I think Fernando Mendoza isn't just the best quarterback in this class. I think he's the best player in this draft.
Yeah, it's a hard sell for me. I think when you look at, and this is how I view it, and why he's not the best player of the draft. When I look at what Fernando Mendoza's ceiling is as a quarterback in the National Football League, I think there are several other players at different positions whose ceilings are way, way higher at their respective spot. Jeremiah Love as a running back. Sonny Styles as a linebacker. We're talking about Caleb Downs as a generational safety prospect in terms of him potentially going within the top 10. So, as I've continued to say all throughout the pre-draft process with Fernando Mendoza, I think he's a good quarterback prospect. I don't know if I would feel comfortable. I know I wouldn't feel comfortable taking him with the number one overall pick for some of the reasons that I just listed. Now, the Raiders are clearly a quarterback-needy team.
Hold one second. Is this the Mountain Dew getting you? You were flexing. I see it. Like you got the Mountain Dew saying, I'm the king. I'm not going to be able to handle it.
There's no flex. It just kind of is what it is with me on Fernando Mendoza. Like I feel like I've beat it into the ground. Anybody that listens to us here regularly knows where I stand on the topic. And his pro day today, for damn sure, did not move the needle for me. Of course not.
Right. We can agree there. Not a big fan of having pro days define your opinions. The best example of that was Zach Wilson had this amazing pro day, and look at this throw, and we all saw what that ended up being. Fernando Mendoza is the best player in this draft for these reasons. He was the best player in college football last season. That's why he won the Heisman Trophy. The numbers are prolific. He wasn't elevated by some college football mega talent factory. It's Indiana. They might not have another first-rounder on this team. If they do, Omar Cooper's going late one. It's a commonly held opinion. This isn't some hot take either. It's a commonly held opinion that he's the best prospect in this draft. Daniel Jeremiah, Mel Kiper, PFF, Yahoo, they all have him as the number one prospect. And before you say, it's because he plays quarterback, Josh, most of those outlets didn't have Cam Ward in the top 3 of their big boards a year ago, even though he went number 1 and happens to play quarterback last we checked. Speaking of which, I'll even go a step further. Not only is Fernando Mendoza the best quarterback in this draft, he's the best prospect that we've seen in the last 2 drafts. Give me Mendoza over Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, the two-way Travis Hunter. I think Mendoza put up better numbers than Cam. Well, we know he did. Put up better numbers than Cam and Shedeur Sanders. Put up better athlete than Cam and Shedeur. Has a better frame than Cam and Shedeur. And there really isn't a significant hole to crush him on. His measurables are exactly what you want in a quarterback. His production's exactly what you want. His intangibles are exactly what you want in a franchise QB. If he stays healthy, it's very unlikely he'd be a bust because there aren't examples really of number one quarterbacks being the top prospect in a draft and not panning out in some way. We hadn't really seen it in the last 20 years. The worst example we've seen is maybe Jameis Winston or Sam Bradford, and obviously there are a lot of great best case. So for me, worst case scenario, he's Kirk Cousins or Jared Goff, which you would sign up for, and in the best case, he's a
But
Joe
as the
Burrow,
number one
likely,
pick, though, Josh?
Right.
You would sign up for Kirk Cousins and Jared Goff as the number one overall
Jared
pick?
Jared Goff's taken 2 teams to 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, but it's not because of Jared Goff. Those 2 quarterbacks, this is my whole point, and I'm glad that you brought those 2 dudes up as guys that you would compare to Fernando Mendoza, because I think those are good comps, and it just further proves the point why he shouldn't be the number one pick. It further proves the point why he shouldn't be the number one pick, because those 2 quarterbacks are quarterbacks that you win with, not that you win because of. They have, when they've had success, Jared Goff's been the most insulated quarterback in the NFC when you think about the supporting cast that the Detroit Lions has, from the offensive line to the skill group. That's how I see Fernando Mendoza. The scenario in which he has success is when he's insulated.
Jared Goff might be a top 10 quarterback in the sport. And here's the thing. Just because you're not one of the 3 or 4 best QBs there are, doesn't mean you shouldn't draft the kid. I mean, this is the most important position. I'm not saying don't draft him,
just not one.
No, he needs to be number 1 because of the value that comes with that position. And if you don't have a certain level at that position, you're completely, utterly screwed in the sport. And Fernando Mendoza, if the baseline of what you get is Kirk Cousins or Jared Goff, Jared Goff's proven that with them, you could go to Super Bowls, he went to the NFC Championship with the Detroit Lions.
Still successful, though. I get your point.
But
like with Cousins and Goff, I think when it comes to like my evaluation, you're hoping that he's able to turn into that. I look at that as sort of like his ceiling, right? Like, because let's not act like Kirk Cousins is one of the best processors in the NFL at the position. Fernando Mendoza is coming from this RPO-based attack where he didn't have to go through a bunch of full field reads, and like that's the knock that I have against him, and it's why some people are all of a sudden sort of leaning towards Ty Simpson in terms of like the way that his game will translate to the next level. I just think with Mendoza, I'll keep going back to it, there's, to me, no super trait that he has. I think he does a bunch of things well. I don't think he has a outlier dominant trait that should make him the number 1 overall pick. Unless you're talking about like his size. The size is the dominant trait, is that he's got NFL tools, but I think he's got a good arm, not a great arm. And I don't know. I think his best case scenario in the NFL is Jared Goff, is Kirk Cousins. That's if you're able to support him the way that those 2 dudes have been supported.
That's worst case. I think best case, it's Joe Burrow, because all the things you're saying, people said about Joe. People didn't say he had the greatest arm. People didn't say he was the best athlete, but he had the right frame, and he had a dominant season his final year in college with a lot more support around him, by the way. I think that's the best case. This isn't me saying he's going to be that. I think it's probably going to be somewhere in between. I think if the best case is Joe Burrow and the worst case is Kirk Cousins or Jared Goff, then you're probably going to be Matt Ryan. And again, you sign up for that. Like that's what I'm saying. At the quarterback position, you got to do it. And I know some people will say, well, the Raiders don't have enough support. They've actually had a really good free agency. And let's not forget, if we're going to bring Joe Burrow back into this, they didn't have an O-line when he first got there. They never really have had an O-line. They were the cheapest team in the league. They might still be that, looking at what just happened with Trey Hendrickson. And he still took that team to the Super Bowl because they had him. So you still take the quarterback when you don't have one.
I also think Joe was a tremendous leader, and that's one thing that's helped him at the NFL level too. But
and Fernando isn't?
Different leadership styles. Different leadership styles is how I would put it with those 2.
One did it at LSU with Jamar Chase.
Hold on. And don't try to nitpick me talking about leadership. Like in reality, like who the hell's really how am I really able to gauge and gauge leadership?
You brought it up.
You didn't let me finish. My thing is this: when it comes to him as a NFL prospect, the Raiders don't even want him to play in year 1, first and foremost. So I think that says a lot about how they feel about him as a prospect.
I don't know if I believe
the second part is I don't like that whenever we have this conversation, you act as if he had like this mediocre supporting cat. Indiana won the damn national championship game, Josh. Mm-hmm. They had one of the best. They also had one of the best rushing attacks in all of college football last year. And at the NFL level, it goes back to what I said. He will have success if he has everything that Kirk Cousins had that made him successful when he was successful, and what Jared Goff had when he was successful. Running game, good offensive line, defense, receiving skill guys, so to speak. So I don't know. It goes back to the same thing with me. he needs to be insulated to have success. I'm not taking a guy like that 1-1 overall.
Then you're just not taking quarterbacks. You wouldn't take a quarterback last year, number one. You're not taking a quarterback this year. You're probably not going to take one next year either, because you look at the quarterbacks who are the best. Fernando Mendoza outplayed Julian Sand, outplayed Dante Moore, and those are the people talking that they're going to be the quarterbacks of next year's draft. Like, if by that logic, you never take a quarterback number one, and that, again, given the value of the position, doesn't make sense.
When he faced a couple of games that I have noted here, when he went up against big-time competition, the Ohio State game, I think, is what kind of proves my theory. Like, I don't think he's worth the number one overall pick, but I also don't think he's like a bad quarterback prospect. I think he's a guy that should be like a fringe first-rounder. I think he's more of a game manager than he is somebody that's going to carry you. Against Ohio State, he managed the game. They scored 13 points. How terrific was he? They scored 13 points.
He got knocked out of the game the first snap, came back in, and led a game-winning drive against the team that had not lost a game and had blown out everybody the entire year.
He had a big throw towards the end, yes, but outside of that, he did not push the ball down the field in this game. And it goes back to, like, I think you're misconstruing, like, where I stand with him. Just because I don't think he's worth the number one overall pick doesn't mean I don't think he's a first-round quarterback. I just think, like, forcing him at number one is what the Raiders are doing, in my opinion, because they need a quarterback. And there's no other quarterback even in the discussion. And I don't think Fernando should be in the discussion either as far as being the number one pick.
I think he's the number one.
Miami in the national championship game. Go back to another game against high-leverage competition.
He won that game when it mattered most. He was
didn't throw for 200. Didn't throw for 200 yards in the game. The offense struggled and got their teeth punched in to start that game. And when he was forced off of his spot and forced to be an athlete, which he's going to have to do at the NFL level because we know he's not going to go into a situation where the offensive line is good, he regressed. He didn't look. He looked more like he played fine, more like a game manager, not a guy that to me is worth the number one overall pick and is going to elevate everybody around him.
So you didn't think Jared Goff's worth the number one pick, given he's taken two teams to NFC Championship game or further?
But we know what Jared Goff is. We know what Jared Goff is. You don't think he was worth it? You take Jared Goff and you put him in a different situation.
I ask you a question. 80%, yes or no?
70-80% of the quarterbacks in the NFL could thrive in the situation, in the set of circumstances.
Yes or no? Was it worth it?
Is he worth the number one overall pick? No.
Mm-hmm. You don't think Jared Goff was worth the number one pick? Okay. I disagree. 310-840-4910. Who is the number one player in this draft? Do you think Fernando Mendoza is? Let's actually hear what he had to say post the workout. Here he was on why he chose to throw at his pro day rather than at the NFL scouting combine in February.
You know, we had 9 eligible guys coming out for the draft, which is a lot more than normal. So I believe it was like 54, 56 throws. We wanted to best showcase our guys. At that point, quarterbacks in the past have done shorter pro days than that. We just want to make sure everybody can showcase their abilities in front of all 32 NFL teams and really run routes that are applicable to the timing that we're going to be running in the NFL. So I think it went great. Everyone showcased amazing, and it was great being back in Bloomington one more time with our guys after such a fantastic finish.
Love that. Throwing with his teammates in Bloomington one more time. What?
I said cute. But no, I'm doing a bit with it. But no, like
we have one more clip we can get to real quickly. Here he is on the number one pick, and he pushed back on the idea that he's auditioning for the Raiders to go number one.
Yeah, I wouldn't really say that the mentality of trying to be the top pick. I'm just trying to be the best me possible. And in that aspect, whatever team picks me, you only need one team to believe in you. Whether you're the first pick, whether you're the last pick, or whatever. And in that, I'm just trying to be the best quarterback I can be in September rather than right now here in April. So I'm putting all my effort towards just trying to be the best quarterback possible for the season.
He says all the right things, man. He's good at this. Being a quarterback you got to be politician a little bit. And the last few years, nobody's been better at that piece of it, the messaging piece, than he has. Like, you're never going to find a story where he's in trouble based on saying something he wasn't supposed to say. I think that's a piece of this, intangibles-wise, when you're drafting a quarterback to be the face of your team. That's a piece of it, too. I think he's really good at this. And I think that goes back to leadership, too. How are you with your teammates? How good of a teammate are you? And people just rave about the guy.
We're going to see. I'm eager to see him in a high-stakes environment in the NFL where he does not have the best team in America.
310-840-4910 if you want in. Is Fernando Mendoza the number one player in this draft? We'll get to your calls. And in addition to that, is the actual college basketball title game this Saturday night? That's next on Westwood One Sports 9.
The Masters, where spring blooms, legends rise, and golf's most sacred traditions come alive. Every Masters moment on the Westwood One Sports app. We're live from Augusta, starting April 9th. Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will be in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Westwood One Sports Night. Here's Josh Graham and Lynnell Willingham.
310-840-4910. Do you think Fernando Mendoza is the top player in this year's NFL draft? Lynnell, we have college basketball to look forward to on Westwood One Saturday night. We are the home of the NCAA tournament. We are the exclusive audio home of the Final Four and National Championship as well. But can you save us some time, perhaps, in deciding who's going to win this national championship? Is Michigan, Arizona, the 2-1 seeds to make it to the Final Four that will be meeting to cap Saturday night's action, a pseudo-national championship? In other words, is the winner of this game cutting down nets next Monday night?
It probably, if anyone's thinking that, it's probably the most disrespectful take that's been given throughout the course of the NCAA tournament. What a total disrespect to UConn. Now, I'm going to disrespect Illinois in the process by boosting up UConn, because I don't think Illinois has much of a shot against the Huskies. But, dog, like, UConn has been, over the past couple of seasons, like, kind of the pseudo gold standard in college basketball, man. Coach Hurley is figuring out ways to get it done. They don't always have the most talented team. And this year's team, I think, is a little bit different than, you know, the group that went back-to-back in terms of, you know, they're not dominating the way that group was. I believe they won all of their tournament games by at least like 14 points, something like that. This team isn't that dominant, but I still think they've found ways to win despite not shooting the ball well. And I always feel like if you're a team in the month of March that isn't really known for stroking it, like, how do you win? UConn showed you. They play defense. They play hard. They get out in transition. They're not giving teams extra possessions. It's fascinating. I think it's going to be a good game, though. But I do not think it's the national championship game. No.
Yeah, we're talking about a single elimination tournament here where, and then regardless who's on the other side, it is disrespectful, it is premature to call a semifinal a national championship. And if you're familiar with the history of this tournament, that backs it up. When you think about one of the most unheralded runs in the history of March Madness, you think about Jim Valvano's NC State Wolfpack in 1983. And those Wolfpack, they were kind of written off, left for dead. Oh, it's a great story. You got to Albuquerque, you got to New Mexico. Everybody viewed the Phi Gamma Slamma and Houston facing Louisville, those 2-1 seeds in the semifinal, as being the national championship game. And then obviously Lorenzo Charles hits the shot at the buzzer and NC State wins that title game. If we're as lucky to get that type of finish on Monday night, that will be spectacular. But to your point, Dan Hurley and UConn, they do remain on the other side of the bracket. They've won 2 of the previous 3 national titles. If he's the best coach in the sport, how do you bet against him in a 1-game setting? Also, the players themselves have championship pedigree. Alex Caravan's been there for all the titles. Solo Ball, Jalen Stewart, Jaden Ross. They were on the most recent title team a couple of years ago. So this isn't new to them. And for, you know, a lot of teams that have never been to the Final Four, that stage, it's different when you're playing in a football stadium. If you look at some of the images that the Final Four's social media has put out at what Lucas Oil Stadium looks like and where the basketball court is situated, it's unlike anything that these kids will have experienced before. talking about the kids from Michigan and Arizona that have never been. For UConn, they have been on that stage. And here's the other thing, Lynnell. Weird things can happen in run-it-back games. Run-it-back games from the regular season. And there's some potential for that in the title game. Arizona faced UConn in Connecticut. The Wildcats won the game by 4, but the Huskies, they were without Terrace Reed Jr. in that game. Obviously, that's a pretty big deal. Michigan, let's say Illinois upsets UConn and Michigan ends up winning on Saturday. Obviously, those two teams met in the Big Ten, and even though the Wolverines won in Champaign, there are a lot of adjustments a coach like Brad Underwood can make when you know the opposing personnel well. So that's why it would be premature to say this is a national championship game, essentially, on Saturday night.
So this is kind of looking ahead to what I think the matchup is going to be, talking about Arizona and UConn. When we start to talk about that game, I'm not going to put a whole lot of stock.
You're already going past Arizona and Michigan.
Yeah. I think, and we'll get to it coming up here, but I do think Arizona ultimately comes away with it. I think UConn comes away with it.
What is the difference maker for you when you're looking at that Arizona-Michigan game? Because personally, this looks like a true heavyweight prize fight Saturday night. Michigan's won its 4 games by an average of 22 points per win. Arizona by 20 points per win. They've combined to lose 5 games the entire season. They're number 1 and number 2 in the KenPom rankings. So how do you separate the two?
I think the difference in this one, right, is like, one, Michigan all year long has struggled to protect the basketball. They turn it over as much as any team in the country, and I think what Arizona has in the backcourt with Bradley and Burries, I think if they're able to turn the Wolverines over and turn this into a track meet and get out and run a little bit, that's where I think they have a sizable advantage. I also just think throughout the course of this season with Arizona, I think they've just gotten better. And I think right now they're playing their best basketball. And they're a little bit, they go, I like what they have off the bench a little bit more, too, in terms of the shooting with Del Orso. I like the guard play, though, man. Like, that's the biggest difference. I mean, these are two very evenly matched teams. I think they both have the size. Normally with Michigan, though, when we're talking about them taking on other teams, the big thing that we all talk about is just how big they are and the length that they have in their front court. Well, Arizona's just as big and just as long. So I don't think that's kind of like a push to me, so to speak. Where I think one team has a definitive advantage is Arizona being able to get out and run against Michigan. I don't think Michigan wants to play that style of basketball. If they do, we've seen them turn the ball over a lot this year.
This segment presented by Robinhood. You expect more from yourself. Expect more from your money. Learn more and get started today with Robinhood at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Got my... For those watching on YouTube, which we encourage you to do, those numbers were fabulous in the month of March. Great support, all the goals that we set, able to exceed those, and it's because of you guys, and we are grateful for that. We're looking to continue growing those numbers. So get involved, get in the chat. YouTube, Westwood One Sports Night. It's great how that's continuing to grow. You also can follow us on social media as we're streaming video live at Josh Graham Show and at Nell_BTP. You can find us. That's Lynnell Willingham. My name's Josh Graham. Make sure you find the podcast as well, Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Search Westwood One Sports Night if you miss any of our great stuff, which includes the most entertaining guest in sports talk, Daht, joining us later in the program. Got my Baltimore Orioles jersey on that you can check out if you're watching. That's because the Orioles won today against the Rangers. Can't say the same about Los Doyers.
Well,
Dodgers have lost 2 out of 3, Lynnell. Huh?
Doesn't matter. We're so early in the season. This is why I say baseball in the month of April means nothing. We'll see how enthusiastic you are. How many times you get to wear that jersey, I don't know, in like the month of October. How about that?
Whoa.
Just saying.
Nice.
I'm just being real. It's not about being nice. It's about being real, factual. Josh Graham.
It's a long ways between now and October.
Get as many wears out of it as you can.
No, it's a tradition that when the Orioles win, I wear some Orioles gear at some point. I don't know how much I'll be bringing to Indianapolis. Don't know if we're going to do that, but still got the Orioles threads on.
You're afraid to rep the Orioles in Indy? Come on now. If you're a real O's fan, you're taking the gear everywhere.
I just might want to dress it up a little bit, Lynnell. That's what I'm saying. I got
put
like
something
a couple
in there.
suits.
Throw a jersey in there, you know.
Mix it up a little bit.
Just throw a jersey in there. For the show.
D-Day, you're the master of the text. D-Day, what do we have? Because in addition to calling us, you can text us at 310-840-4910, as we were just discussing. Is Fernando Mendoza the number one pick in this draft, or is he the best prospect in this year's draft?
I think you're muted, Denton.
Yeah, might need to get that figured out.
I think you're still
don't
muted.
Hear you. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Mic turned on. Uh-oh. We could figure that out at a later point. I don't know. It's all good. Also,
I can read the text.
See. Oh, you have the text? What does the text say?
Text says, I agreed with the Mendoza take. He will be the number one overall, but guys like Nix, Caleb, Daniels, and May are in a separate league, so I guess he's agreeing with me in that sense. Yeah, that's my whole thing, just to go back to it. It's not that I don't think Fernando Mendoza is going to be, a quality NFL starter. I just think it's going to take him some time to develop into that, and I don't know if he's much more than that,
Did you say who you would take number one overall then?
If I was the
Mendoza,
Raiders,
then who?
Man, if it's not Mendoza, I think Sonny Styles is the best linebacker prospect that's ever come out.
On.
But, he's a linebacker. Are you going to take a linebacker
That's
1-1
it.
overall? Are you
Same
going to
thing
take
for
Arvell
Jeremiah
Reese?
Love. Let's take a
But that's the thing. They're linebacker. He's a linebacker, but, he's a guy that's going to impact the game and cause turnovers and help you out defensively. Don't act like they're just valueless and have no value at all.
No. Guards have value. Kickers have value.
Dude, the best offensive lineman in this draft is a guard. The kid out of Penn State is the best lineman in this draft.
You're not taking him number one. You're not taking him in the top three.
But I don't that's just
that.
bad. Just because we have this we've thought a certain way for a long time doesn't mean it's right. This idea of forcing a quarterback into the number one overall pick because it's a quarterback is stupid to me. You're not getting the best value.
I think he's the best player in this draft. That's what I believe. I'm not saying let's force him. I think they're not. I think he's the guy. I believe in him.
I don't.
You
know.
don't seem to.
I don't. When it comes to the draft, though, I get it. I think there's obviously going to be consensus on guys. There are going to be multiple different respected talent evaluators out there that are on TV. That like a guy more than another. I was trying to look at my consensus top 100 here, and
you have a consensus top 100 list?
No, not my consensus top 100 list.
Oh, I'm just
from The Athletic, because I still have a hard time believing that do scouts really feel that way? Let me not say scouts. Do the folks on television really feel that he's the best player in this draft?
I've talked with Daniel Jeremiah about it. I trust him more than anybody. He does. He believes that. He thinks he's the best player in this draft.
The best player overall in the draft. I don't know. I would love to push back at Daniel Jeremiah on that. I would love to hear his rebuttal. He said
he's going to drop by in the next few weeks. So we'll figure that out.
I would love for him to do that.
All right. We'll make sure to do that because, he's a massive star in the media ranks. There are other massive stars that are having a worse time than Daniel Jeremiah is. They have checked themselves into rehab, actually. We'll bring the news to you on those fronts. Plus, there's a slight chance, Conspiracy Josh might make an appearance on the show. Next on Westwood One Sports Night.
It was one of the greatest comebacks and shots of all time.
Mullet, long three. He hit it. He hit the long three-pointer.
Down 19 points. UConn upset Duke.
And the UConn Huskies score a floor. An epic comeback from 19 points down.
And all of the madness was heard on the Westwood One Sports app.
I don't believe it.
We're your home of the NCAA tournament.
Unbelievable.
Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Westwood One Sports Night. Here's Josh Graham and Lynnell Willingham.
we're talking about the number 1 pick in the draft. It's going to be Fernando Mendoza. The question is whether or not it should be, and whether or not he's the best quarterback or make it the best prospect in this draft. I say he is. Lynnell Willingham does not agree with that. Let's see what Sean in Virginia thinks. 310-840-4910. What thoughts do you have on the number 1 pick, Sean?
Oh, what's going on, guys? He just comes with a lot of lackluster. Indiana, of course, had a Cinderella season, and they're a powerhouse now, of course. But, I mean, I can't agree with him being the best player in the draft. I mean, like I said, I'm in love with Sonny Styles and Downs and the defense. I'm a Commanders fan, but I just don't – like I said, we'll give him Mariota. I think that's his ceiling as far as the future goes. I think he'd be a great backup at some point, but I mean, I don't foresee him going on to do great things in the NFL. I mean, that's just me. I could be wrong. So you said
Washington should trade up to take Sonny Styles?
Yeah, I want to take him number 1.
I just want you to know that respectfully, you don't speak for any Commander fan out there right now.
I thought you loved Sonny Styles more than anybody.
I'm not trading up to get Sonny. I'm not trading up to get anybody. The Commanders
That's just the
have
point
4 more
saying,
picks than I do in the draft. Like,
I just don't think that I don't think the Raiders are going to do anything good with the pick anyway. So I mean, why? I feel sorry for the guy Mendoza, to tell you the truth. Yeah, somebody will take him between 1 and 7, I think.
We appreciate the call. Can I address something in the YouTube chat? We encourage you all to hit us up on YouTube in the chat. Carter from the Bronx, the heel Mr. Positive is what we're calling him. He said I had no stats or I had a poor argument. It's just off of vibes and a hunch when it comes to Fernando Mendoza. One, clean your ears out, Carter from the Bronx. If you're clearly you haven't been listening to the show. I've given you several concrete reasons, in my opinion, as to why. It's not about vibes and a hunch. I've given you games that I didn't like. I've given you traits that I didn't like that I don't know how well they'll translate to the NFL level. It's not – the whole bit is saying, oh, I think he's a nerd. I really don't think he's that great of a quarterback prospect. Not worthy of the number 1 pick.
Let's lighten the mood a little bit. Puka Nacua and Tiger Woods checked into treatment facilities.
That's supposed to lighten the mood? You demon.
It's what we call sarcasm. It's clear what's going on with Tiger. 3 instances behind the wheel in a decade, and we learned that he's not going to be in Augusta, which is a bummer because just as an ambassador to the game, whether he's playing or not, you want to have Tiger Woods at the most prominent event on the schedule in the game of golf. It's a little bit more ambiguous when it comes to Puka Nacua because, according to the reporting we've seen here, he apparently has been in rehab for a, quote, substantial period of time before any of the allegations broke. The allegations being that Puka Nacua, he had a lawsuit filed against him alleging he made a, quote, unprovoked anti-Semitic statement on New Year's Eve and later bit this woman on the shoulder. This is the part that I found most interesting with the reporting of this. In terms of what exactly he's going to rehab for. I mean, to quote Danny McBride's character in Eastbound and Down, somebody said, "What did you hurt? Why did you go to rehab?" He's like, hurt my nose, right? It's pretty obvious sometimes why you're going to rehab. This is why they said Puka Nacua is, quote, to improve his overall behavior in every aspect of his life. This is the guy, Lynnell, that some believe pound for pound is the most talented offensive player in the NFL today.
He needs to get his act together, bro. Like, let's call a spade a spade. I think it's fascinating that, first of all, like this assumption, I think he's in line to get paid soon. And there was a report out there that, you know, the Rams plan to pay him. I don't know if that came from Puka's camp or the Rams camp. I think it came from Puka's camp. I think if you're the Rams, I don't know how eager they are to pay him. Why would they be calling the Philadelphia Eagles about A.J. Brown knowing what they currently have at wide receiver with Puka and Devontae Adams? I think the Rams have been hip to this. I think the Rams don't like the smell of it. And I don't know if the Rams trust Puka Nacua. If I'm being quite
why would you?
honest, why would you? Why would you
for
sure.
him?
For sure. So, that's why I think that they were interested in A.J. Brown.
The thing that was a huge red flag for me is how often the guy would, stream, himself go live in the locker room after games, and you'd hear his teammates saying, hey, man, cut that out. No live, whatever. And then he lied to one of them saying, no, I'm not live. I'm not doing video. And it turned out he still was, obviously. We were all watching that exchange. So when people talk about prima donna receivers, this is exactly case in point who you're talking about. However, when you watch the dude play, I don't know what your definition of a prima donna is, but this is it. The guy who
reckless.
acts like an ass in the locker room, not a great teammate in that regard, and acts like an ass off the field, but still performs, thus you put up with it. That's my definition of a prima donna. You put up with a bunch of your high maintenance, and that's what Puka Nacua is. He's high maintenance.
Am I supposed to rebuttal to that? I mean, yeah.
No, I didn't. I didn't know if you agree with that definition or not.
Oh, I mean,
that he's high.
Sure.
That he's high def. If he's high maintenance in any way. 310-840-4910 if you want in on the program. We have a statement from Kansas basketball that came in tonight. Bill Self is to return as the basketball coach per a statement that was put out by Kansas Athletics. Let's read that real quickly. Here's what was written by Coach Self. Quote, Jayhawk Nation, with renewed clarity and the ongoing support from our administration, I remain focused and committed to Kansas basketball competing for a national championship. I look forward to seeing and hearing the best fans in college basketball next season at Allen Fieldhouse. Coach Bill Self. Your thoughts on that while I see who's knocking on the door over here.
Who is it? But no, look, he's saying he's going to coach next year. I don't know what else you could possibly take away from that very straightforward statement that didn't need to be released, if I'm being honest, because I don't think as a oh God, I don't know if as a university you need to be responding to speculation, but it is what it is. I know it's become a hot button topic. But who was that at the? Oh, hello. How are you, pal? Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. How are you?
Conspiracy Josh has made an appearance on the program.
I love how you refer to yourself in the third person. I think it's amazing, Conspiracy Josh.
Well, you didn't introduce who I was, so I needed to tell everybody who I was, Lynnell. The youngest in charge, I believe, is what you're called.
I think as soon as you speak and give off your horrible North Carolina accent, we know who you are.
Hold on a second, dear. This is not an accent that is exclusive to the state of North Kakalaki. This is an accent that could be all across the South of North Carolina, but also the entire United States of America. Now, I have some thoughts here on Bill Self real quickly that I'd like to share with you on this program. I think the man is still going to retire this offseason. And I think this statement stinks to high heavens, Lynnell. If you're going to say you're back for next basketball season, how come you didn't say anything about coaching the team in the statement next season? What he said, and I'm quoting Lynnell, I look forward to seeing and hearing the best fans in college basketball next season at Allen Fieldhouse. Now, if he were to retire at the start of, say, camp, the way that Tony Bennett did and Bruce Pearl did and Dean Smith did in order to give the assistant he wants a shot at leading the team into the future, would he be a liar if people were doing that, if comparing the statement to what he said? Would he be a liar? No, he could still see the best fans in basketball at Allen Fieldhouse. He could still hear them and see them. That's all he said in the statement. He said, right now, I'm committed to Kansas basketball, which means he could say in October, I'm no longer committed. I can't do it because of my health. And he could say, I still look forward to seeing the fans and hearing them. He could say that. Like, that's not him lying, which means he's giving himself an out, Lynnell. Conspiracy Josh believes that Bill Self is still going to retire so that Jock Vaughn, his guy, can get his shot at being a coach. Just like we saw at Auburn, just like we saw at Virginia, and just like we saw in North Carolina. Dean Smith set this playbook a long time ago in 1997, Lynnell.
Conspiracy Josh, are you drunk? Like that, there's nothing about that statement. You know why he didn't say coaching?
Conspiracy Josh out.
And you know why he didn't specifically reference coaching? Because it's the only relationship he's ever had with the university. So why would he have to say it? Why would he have to say it? He's not a player, so you want to say, I look forward to playing in front of you all night. Like, come on. I think you're totally reaching. But
Conspiracy Josh, man, he's got takes.
Yeah, he has takes, all right. Conspiracy Josh is something else. There's no chance Bill Self retires. If he retires, then we should all blame Darren Peters. That means the season, he put that much stress on our old pal Bill Self that he decided to hang it up. Come on.
He's had some health issues over the last few years, so I get that part of what Conspiracy Josh is saying. We'll see if it ends up happening later this year.
It probably won't. But
in
October,
Josh,
we'll have to wait and see, man. Because college basketball will be so important.
Yeah, I mean, we'll learn a lot. We'll see if that's right. We'll see how Fernando Mendoza looks by that point in October.
We'll see if he's actually played a game yet to that point, because the Raiders would like to sit him to start his career.
I still don't believe that. When's the last time we had the number one pick sit to start the season? Denton Day actually said he looked that up at one point. Do you remember what quarterback that was, D-Day, who started
Baker
the
Mayfield?
season?
Was it Baker?
Yeah, I think Baker, there it is. Baker Mayfield was, in fact, the player. But that's the 2017 draft, a decade ago. So it's been a while, or as the obscure rock band from the 2000s, Stained once say, it's been a while since you've had a number one pick not start right out of the chute. Stained. You don't know. This is the part where I look at Oliver and say, hey, Oliver, you know what we're bumping back to, right? It's been a while since I first saw you. No, there were a lot of bands like that in the 2000s I was into. Stained just had a couple of hits, just a few. I don't even know if Denton knows about Stained. We'll find out in a bit.
You've stained your college football to NFL pipeline with the quarterback reputation.
Oh, we need to talk about the NFC East, because the team that's been dominant in that division looks like they have some holes. That's next on Westwood One Sports Night.
This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will be in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Westwood One Sports Night. Here's Josh Graham and Lynnell Willingham.
We have a pretty big story in the NFL to hit on. It comes from the NFC East. ESPN has the story. Jeremy Fowler inside the Eagles' 2025 friction as Jalen Hurts stands at a crossroads. Apparently, there were instances where there would be plays called by Jalen Hurts that the offensive coordinator didn't want, including the 4 verticals on the final snap of the season. And let's just be honest, this is a hit piece on Jalen Hurts. Somebody has an axe to grind. There's a lot of bad juju surrounding the Eagles. So if we're going to 1,000-foot view this thing, Lynnell, perhaps we can dig deeper into the story in a little bit. The Eagles look like they're wobbling a bit. Who do you view right now as being the favorite to win the NFC East in 2026?
Well, sure as hell isn't the Philadelphia Eagles. They've lost a significant amount on defense. Offensively, I don't know if Jalen Hurts is going to play nice with Sean Mannion and be willing to do things that he's never done in his career before, including playing under center and, being a good teammate. I think it's the Dallas Cowboys. I think they are the best team within the NFC East right now, and if they nail their 2 first-round draft picks, not only will I view them as the best team in the NFC East, I will view them as a top 3 team within the NFC conference as a whole. Offensively, they are a championship group. They have the best wide receiver duo in football with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. Relative to the division, they have by far the most established guy in the division and the guy who's been the most consistent throughout the course of his career. The only issue that the Dallas Cowboys had in 2026 is defensively. They were bad, but they revamped this defense in the season and to start this offseason. Their biggest issues right now in Dallas lie in the secondary. They add Jalen Thompson from the Arizona Cardinals, who I thought was one of the most under-the-radar available free agents at that position. They bring in Kobe Durant from the L.A. Rams. They bring in P.J. Locke from the Denver Broncos. Like, they have added some pieces to the secondary. I still think the draft and maybe a late-wave free agency addition is how they ultimately get this thing up to snuff. But all Dallas's defense has to do is be average. And they also have probably, on the defensive side of the football, the rookie turning sophomore that I'm most excited about, Donovan Ezeraku, who started off slow last year, but there were games where he really, really flashed, including against the Philadelphia Eagles in the opening game of the season, but after that he kind of was put on the shelf for a little while. Seeing him in year number 2, I'm eager to see that. A full season of Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark, I'm excited to see that as well. They have pieces.
I'm thinking about another team that has a promising second-year player that could take advantage of it. Every year, you have a team that goes from worst to first. I think this might be the division for it. If the Eagles are trending down, as it seems they are, the New York Football Giants are most likely to overtake them in the NFC East, because I think this is the team that's following the Mike Vrabel model from a year ago. Promising quarterback from his first season into his second year. You hire the top-tier coach. You bring in, I guess the Giants are following what the Patriots model was a year ago. You bring in Mike Vrabel, who's a proven coach. John Harbaugh, nobody would doubt that he's a proven winner. And they have a top 5 pick to add a real game changer. You talk about how the Cowboys have a chance to really knock things out. Well, the Giants have that chance too, and there's a ton of talent on this team. Don't forget, they're going to get Malik Neighbors back and Cam Scatterbo back from injury. They're going to be healthier on the O-line. On defense, they have Brian Burns and Abdul Carter on the edge and Dexter Lawrence up front. Then in free agency, they added like Greg Newsome at corner and Tremaine Edmonds at linebacker. Isaiah Likely, the pride of Coastal Carolina at tight end. Darnell Mooney's a fine add on offense too. This looks to me like the Jackson Daht breakout season because he has weapons. He's got a decent O-line if they stay healthy. And he's working with Matt Nagy, Brian Callahan, Greg Roman. Like, there are a lot of people that who have dealt with successful quarterbacks in this league surrounding Jackson Daht, and there was a lot of promise from last year. So that's the division I'm looking at from a team finishing potentially last and going to first, going from worst to first, the New York Giants. But who is your pick to win the NFC East? Are you still rolling with the Eagles? Is it Lynnell's Dallas Cowboys? Is it my New York Giants in this case? 310-840-4910. You can text us or call us. Man, this is where we encourage people to watch the show in addition to listening to it, because we're on at Josh Graham Show and at Nell_BTP on X, and then on YouTube you can find us where a lot of you have supported it. March, we did fantastic numbers. But hearing Lynnell in detail make the case for the Dallas Cowboys while an actual Washington Commanders banner hangs behind him and a Redskins jersey and a Jaden Daniels jersey, a Redskins helmet and a Jaden Daniels jersey, that must speak even more to how much you like Dallas.
I do, and it's not about how much I like Dallas, I think. There's just uncertainty with every team in this division. is how I would put it. And I'm going to go with the quarterback that I trust the most. That is Dak Prescott at the end of the day. With the Giants, I think the Giants are fascinating.
Do you think Jackson Dart can take that type of a leap? Like, who's the guy out of that quarterback class? You probably would take Dart over Cam Ward or Shador to have the Drake May-like jump in terms of supporting cast. You love Malik Neighbors, I'm sure.
Huge Malik Neighbors fan. I just need to know if Jackson Dart is going to play a smarter brand of football in 2026. Best
Agreed.
ability is availability. Can't be in the blue 10 as much as he was. I just really worry about what they have on their offensive line. There's three big issues with the Giants and why I'm not all the way sold on the Giants. One, I don't trust Jackson Dart to stay healthy or make consistently good decisions. I didn't think he played particularly well down the stretch, especially there was a late game against Washington where he was just god-awful and threw an interception to cost them the football game down the stretch. Still have question marks about him. This offensive line, Andrew Thomas, when healthy, is one of the best left tackles in football, has shown no ability to do that. And I can speak to this because I guess I'm a Commander fan, and I know what it's like to hype a guy that's really not that good. Jermaine Illuminor, when the Giants re-signed him up front along the offensive line, people were doing backflips. Why? I don't know. I don't think he's that great. Their center, John Michael Schmitz, I don't think he's that great. Their offensive line, to me, is the big Achilles heel. And if they want it, they signed Pat Ricard. There's potential talk about drafting Jeremiah Love. They've got – if I was the Giants, I'm not going defense. You have a potentially dominant front four. They need a tackle in the worst way. And maybe it's too much of a reach at 5 to take a tackle. But damn, man, depending on how the board shakes out, like that to me is what the Giants should do. You need to invest in your secondary and your offensive line. Your two biggest holes to me, in my opinion.
310-840-4910. You could text us. You can call us at that number. Who do you think wins the NFC East? Let's go to Johnny, who's in Atlanta. Johnny, who is the beasts of the East?
The team that won the Super Bowl, it got to be the Eagles. The Cowboys are suspect. Every year, y'all boost them up like they're going to do something. They end up falling flat. The Giants, they're unproven. I don't care what Jackson Dart had a great rookie season, but he's unproven.
Great?
Let's see what he's going to do this year.
Come on. Raise your standards, Johnny.
He had a decent. It wasn't all that. But I'm just saying. C.J. Stroud had one, too, and look what he came back and did. Jackson Dart did the same thing. He still haven't proven to me yet. So you got to give it to the Eagles. The Washington Commanders, I think Jaden Daniels is going to be another Penix. He always going to be hurt. That's my opinion. I hope I don't offend nobody.
Watch it, pal.
You know what? I'll say this, Johnny. I appreciate the phone call. What's his name? My name is Josh. That's Lynnell. Lynnell, you're listening to Westwood One Sports Night. Lynnell, Washington Commanders. It's weird. This was the trendy team a year ago, and then here's what happens in the media. This is how it works. If you don't meet the expectations, then nobody is going to be in your corner a year later. Is there a path where the Commanders, who were in the NFC Championship game just a couple years ago, find a way to surprise some people and perhaps are in the conversation we're talking about?
Of course there's a path. Of course there's a path. How likely is it that they choose that path? If they're like 4 doors and just A, B, C, or D, I think it's more likely that they choose the door that has the Grim Reaper behind it instead of the rainbow. But we'll see. I think with Washington, it's all about the health of the quarterback. And last year, when he was on the shelf as much as he was, it's really hard to, speak definitively about them and have concrete thoughts about them. My other issue is defensively. They were historically bad. They've added some pieces to the pass rush, still major question marks in the secondary. Just too many holes, too many question marks still with them. Now, the draft, they have draft picks and that'll allow them to fill some more of those holes. But I just think as a roster overall, there's still some pretty fatal flaws that they have.
So who's going to win the NFC East? We have a nomination for the Eagles. I nominated the Giants. You nominated the Cowboys. We need somebody to potentially split the vote. If only we had somebody who could potentially nominate another. Mr. Positive's on the line. 310-840-4910 if you want in. Mr. Positive, do you have a favorite in the NFC East next season?
Boom, shakalaka, everybody go for your dreams. I got to tell you, it's got to be the Eagles because they've been there. They'll come together. Jalen and the All-Star crew will want it, you dynamic duo. Can I real quick opine about the Lions?
Oh, boy. Here we go. Are you still mad because Lynnell was kind of – did you say that, like, European soccer style, Lynnell, that the Lions should be relegated from the NFL because of the Frank Ragnow thing?
They should be
Did I hear that properly?
They should be put in the USFL, whatever spring league's going on right now. That's where the Lions should play.
Got it.
Well,
okay.
I got to tell you guys, we are so depressed here in Detroit. The integrity of the front office of the Detroit Lions, Ron Woods. I mean, we've been making the Detroit Lions so much money, hundreds of millions of dollars for the past 40, 50 years, and they want to take the money back. Yes, technically they can do it.
I've got to interrupt him. I'm sorry. Mr. Positive, I want to fist fight you in the street right now because you told me that you weren't going to do the depressing stuff as Mr. Positive.
Damn, look at the radio
Josh,
guys.
I apologize.
The radio guys. I don't think that was a natural pause
Detroit
either.
Come around and realize that they are doing stupid things.
Michigan's in the Final Four. Michigan's in the Final Four. You told us that you wouldn't be depressed if they were in the Final Four.
I love it. They're going all the way. They're going to take the title. They've got the size. They've got the intensity.
No, they're not, Mr. Positive.
Oh, come on. Come on, Lynnell.
They're not even going to beat Arizona, pal. They're not going to beat Arizona. I think the guard play. I think the guard play is too good. What Detroit has going for them is the fighting Cade Cunninghams is what you guys have going for you. And the Red Wings.
Thank you, Mr. Positive. All right.
Maybe the Tigers. Tigers.
The Tigers are back. They're good. I mean, Michigan's in the Final Four.
I will say Detroit is a miserable city.
The Pistons.
I'll be honest. Like
what? What are we doing?
I've been there once. It was miserable, and I thought
we don't have to do this.
We don't have to, but like I don't. One thing you're learning about me, Josh.
They're going to host the Final Four next year. That's going to be great. I'm excited.
It's great. Maybe one of the best things that's ever happened to the city. One thing you're going to learn about me, Josh. I really just don't give a damn. Honestly, I think Detroit's a lousy city. Sorry, just is. The people in Detroit are worried about the wrong damn things. Can we get my folks some damn clean drinking water? Is the water clean in Flint yet? Why are we worried about all the wrong stuff about Detroit?
They got RoboCop. They got Beverly Hills Cop. They got a team in the Final Four. Detroit, I'm behind you, okay?
I almost went Ice Cube in the early 80s just now, but I didn't.
Yeah. Appreciate you not doing that. 310-840-4910. Who's going to win the NFC East? Who should it be? See, we've spent time talking about who might overtake the Eagles, but what do we make of the actual story itself? What is something illuminating to take from it? That and your calls next on Westwood One Sports Night.
The weather is heating up, and so is the sports calendar. We are your home of the Final Four, the Masters, and the NFL Draft, taking you inside the sports you care about. Westwood One Sports.
Hear programming.
I hear you.
Okay, I hear Lynnell now.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in
Lynnell?
4 minutes, 30 seconds.
You hear me, Lynnell?
Yes.
I do not hear Denton. Nope.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes.
All right, test.
I think this is coming on
Hi, StreamYard.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
You need to mute yourself, Josh. Mute yourself. Mute your volume.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
I don't hear Denton. Denton talk?
I hear Lynnell. I know the folks on StreamYard can hear us. I said Mr. Positive should cheer up. I stand by that. All right.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes.
I know you guys can hear us. We're testing some things out, boys and girls, watching on StreamYard.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Westwood One Sports Night. Here's Josh Graham and Lynnell Willingham.
So Jeremy Fowler has the story for ESPN. That's essentially, let's call it what it is. It's a hit piece about Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. Lynnell Willingham, what do you take from this story, if anything?
A lot. Things are not good in the city of brotherly love. All is not well with the Philadelphia Eagles. Some of this stuff coming out about the guy that's supposed to be the face of your franchise, like some of the stuff in this article is 1,000% damning. It totally makes me look at Jalen Hurts differently. I already didn't think he was if it's true, but like why would it be fake?
Well,
like, why would
have axes to grind? Like, I mean, who knows if Kevin Patullo was the one to tell Jeremy Fowler these things now that Sean Mannion's the OC? I take it with a grain of salt any time a team has a ton of turnover, and then you have people leaking, generally you got to take it with a grain of salt.
But this has been the last 2 years
generally
with Philly.
It's
they had these issues. They had these issues last year before the postseason, but they ultimately went on to,
So yeah, I lump all this together. I don't think it's two instances because a year ago we were talking about all being well because they just whacked the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I kind of, like you said, I kind of lump it together. I just think it's bad. It looks like it. Everything that's being reported, like if you watch the Eagles, it looks that way offensively. They're super vanilla. They're super boring. They don't push the ball down the field. And you would think with one of the best receiver duos in football, he would be much more capable of putting up more dynamic numbers. Not only do you have the best wide receiver duo in football, you got a top 5 offensive line. You have arguably the best running back in the sport. Yet Philadelphia last year down the stretch offensively looked lifeless. So I think all signs point back to the quarterback. When it comes to like the part in this piece, and this is the part that I think is the most damning. The pushback when they tried to like diversify the scheme and not wanting to go under center and not letting the ball rip. It's crazy. It's how I feel about Fernando Mendoza in terms of how he looks at times during man coverage, not letting it rip unless the guy's wide open. But I will digress on that. When you watch them play, everything that you read in this article, you can see it in real time.
Yeah. Don't know if, again, a lot of this stuff is very subjective. It's not really black and white. For example, interpreting something such as poor body language, which was a key part of this story, the idea that he wasn't completely dialed in. Okay, what you view as that being the case might be completely different to somebody else, but then there are some things that if they're true, these are pretty concrete. The person, again, if he is not running the plays that Kevin Patullo calls, that's one thing. Refusing to play under center, another. That there are some things that you kind of look at that you flag and say, if this is true, then that's a big deal. And it factors into, hey, is this team still going to be the toast of the NFC East this year? You think the Dallas Cowboys are going to take that leap? I'm on the Giants train. Denton Day, where are you at on this exactly?
The other thing that I think is interesting about where this conversation is gone, well, I think they take a step back. What if Sean Mannion's the guy to get – because I think ideally, like the offense that the Eagles should be running with their personnel and their offensive line and that freakazoid at running back, putting him in a Shanahan-style offense where you're going to marry together the run and the pass game, something that Philly has not been able to do because it's hard to do that when you do not play from under center, that would allow him to be the best version of himself. And if they're able to get that out of him, the Eagles are talented, man. Like that's the whole thing. Like it's tough because on the same breath, I think they take a step back. I don't think it works with Sean Mannion, but if it does, like what he brings to the table in terms of a offensive scheme, it's not going to be the Eagles have had this RPO-based attack since he's taken over as a starter. What Sean Mannion is trying to implement is a traditional West Coast zone running scheme where you're marrying all your concepts together and you're going to maximize everybody's ability. If he buys in, and I believe what people are saying about him not buying in, because there's no damn reason that with the game on the line in the damn divisional round of was it the wild card game against San Fran or the divisional game? When they played San Fran in the playoffs, in that end of game scenario where they called 4 verts on back-to-back plays, I think that was everyone rolling their eyes and going, you know what, we're screwed. This kid can't run anything else anyway. Like, all you read throughout this article is his reluctance to do what he's being coached to do. And the last time I checked, Jalen Hurts, has he earned that right to kind of just bypass what the coaches say? If I look, I view Jalen Hurts in the same bucket as I view Jared Goff. I view him in a similar bucket as I put Brock Purdy. Those dudes, there are levels to this quarterback position in the NFL, bro. He is in that category where if you remove the elite supporting cast that he's had for his entire time as a starter, I know for a fact he would not have nearly the level of success that he's had statistically. Look at what he's had. There's an argument to be made that since he's taken over as a starter, he's been the most insulated quarterback in football. That's a number 1 ranked defense that they had. That's a legit top 5 group. Their offensive line has been a top 5 group in the best tackle tandem in football. The receiver duo is arguably the best in football. So he's all out of excuses for me. It's time to shake a leg or lose one if you're Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. But the crazy part is, and why I feel like I got a personality disorder when talking about Philly, I can see a scenario where things get back on track with them because I do love their defense still, and I do love their offensive line. I love everything outside of him.
I think you might see a scenario just as likely as them completely righting the ship where they decide to potentially blow this thing up at some point. Just because if you move off of A.J. Brown, which I believe they want to do, and there's some real issues about Jalen Hurts' future, just curious, what would you get for Jalen Hurts on the open market? If Jalen Hurts were made available and it was on the hush-hush, sounded like Danny DeVito in L.A. Confidential. If it's on the hush-hush, like what exactly is, what are you getting for Jalen Hurts? 310-840-4910. Should the Eagles consider blowing it up?
Blowing it up, first of all, I think when in terms of the way his contract breaks down, and I'm pulling up his spell track right now.
Yeah,
if they did go down that crazy scenario.
This isn't something you do right now because, again, you kind of do the things you do that you were desperate enough to do a few years ago. Nick Sirianni, he had an opportunity. He had really good coordinators when he first went to the Super Bowl and lost to Kansas City. Lost both those coordinators. It didn't go well. He was given the opportunity to replace him, did a nice job in doing that again. So he's given that chance another time, and I'm fine with that. But as long as you have Nick Sirianni as your coach, I don't think you're in the position to reset. If you're going to reset, you're probably not meeting expectations this year, and you decide, you know what, it's probably best for us to reset coach, reset quarterback. What you're about to tell me with the contract probably suggests the same thing.
Yeah, I think it would probably – you're saying if you're going to – you would blow a total reset, new coach, new everything, if Philadelphia was to decide to move on from Jalen Hurts, right? I just want to make sure I have what you're saying. Right.
And again, you're moving him somewhere. That's somebody would take on that money in the hypothetical
He
sense.
is virtually he's virtually untradeable until the 27 or the 28 season. I mean,
so the next 2 years you would have
he would have a $67 million dead cap hit if you traded him, which is you can spread that out over the course of 2 years.
Just saw it with Kyler Murray this past
month. It may be similar to where if he's that much of a problem, then if you feel like you can get a good return, here's the thing. If I'm Philly, I would strongly, if you really feel this way, if there's merit to what was being reported, I think you do it because of what you have. You can plug and play someone and get just as good as or better results, in my opinion. I don't think Jalen Hurts is like a needle mover at the quarterback position. Like I continue to say, he's been one of the most insulated guys in the league since he's taken over as a starter, which on the same hand, in the same breath, I feel like, not to disrespect Jalen Hurts, but that's probably what's going to come off as, he's a Chanel bag. He's a baby Birkin. He's gotten carried all the way through this process, in my opinion. You can put anybody in Philadelphia with that supporting cast.
How many quarterbacks, I mean this
success.
Sincerely, how many quarterbacks do you like? I mean, I just hear you crush everybody. Jared Goff, Bryce Young, crush here.
Well,
now it's Jalen Hurts.
You just named 2 quarterbacks and 3 names.
No, I'm serious. I mean, how many quarterbacks do you like if Jalen Hurts is so insulated despite taking them to 2 Super Bowls and winning one? And Jared Goff taking 2 different teams to the NFC Championship game and having a ton of success. If that's not good enough for you to like these quarterbacks, I mean, come on.
It's not that I don't like him. I think he's like a glorified game manager. He is he's a souped up game manager that can run. My thing with he doesn't throw with anticipation, doesn't have elite ball placement. The arm talent is just not there. Like he doesn't do things to me.
This is a valuable trade. Hot Carlito says, I think you could trade Hurts for a good return, maybe a Charizard. If it's a holographic Charizard, I think you might be in business.
Holy cow.
For real. Holographic? It's valuable.
2 1s, a second, and a fifth is where you start for Jalen Hurts, the Grand Strander. Your ass would get fired. Are you kidding? I wish a team would give that up for Jalen Hurts. We're talking about Jalen Hurts, y'all. Come on, man.
310-840-4910. Lynnell, we got Graham's gambling we're going to do a little bit later on, but Lynnell's gambling doesn't have the same ring to it. How closely are you paying attention to this San Antonio Spurs game that's in front of us here? Did this finish up already? Are we done?
Probably now. Don't tell me.
No, I think we got about 3 minutes to go in it. Yeah, Spurs handling
2:53. I don't even want to talk about it.
Steve Kerr wouldn't tell us all the ways.
Did you bring
this
up
up to stop?
Did you bring this
Victor
up to try to piss me off or something?
No, sincerely, this is the most NBA I've talked this month. I was just trying to be nice.
Well, you're rubbing in the fact that my parlay is gonna miss by Victor Wembanyama not getting a steal. So I think
what did you call it again?
A Wembley. I think we should either pivot or you should pay me $87.58.
Oh, no.
That is. I
like the Wembley. I like the Wembley.
No, I'm crushed.
I'm a fan.
Right now, if I'm being honest, yeah.
That stat line's pretty good though. 41, 18, and 3 with 3 blocks. No steals though.
He's a dog, man. He's the best player in basketball.
See, I haven't watched a lick of NBA this month, so I need your help to tell me if anything else is worth bringing up in the association. I think they should go on an Olympic break while college basketball's playing. Because
I told you the
college basketball season ends.
I don't know how many points they ended up scoring, but Boston scored 53 points in the first quarter.
147.
They ended up getting a 147, dog. The Heat are just a joke. So is Bam Adebayo. Just saying. Jamal Murray had 37 tonight. Nuggets are interesting to me, man. Because, they're the team that in the playoffs I know are just going to play better than what they're playing right now. Their game ratchets up to another level in the postseason. Jamal Murray, who's going to be third-team All-NBA this year probably, he's having one of the best years of his career right now. Imagine what happens in the postseason where he just seems to get better. I'm excited about Denver. The Western Conference is like a logjam, bro. You should be paying attention because it's actually really spicy right now in the Western Conference. In the Western Conference, between the 3 seed and, the 6 seed, it's separated right now by 3.5 games.
Oh, sorry.
It could be a tight race, man. It's important. It's going to determine who potentially advances. If you care about the Lakers, which everyone should because they're one of the biggest brands in pro sports, if you're the Lakers, you are hoping and praying that the Timberwolves rise up to the 5 seed and you don't have to play them in round 1. If the Lakers get the Rockets in round 1, hot damn, they're going to advance and win a playoff series.
Yeah, even during that, I got a little distracted. I got a little bored. NBA basketball in March. Just want to hear from my fans. B. Daly writes in, Caleb Williams is the truth, a concept that clown boy Josh Graham can't relate to while he's challenging people to fist fights for lying. I'm your Huckleberry clown boy. Yeah, so clown boy Josh Graham here. It's just good to hear from your fans. I appreciate that. You can write in on YouTube, Westwood One Sports Night. Tell us who's going to win the NFC East and whether or not the Philadelphia Eagles are going to take a step back. Up next, why we might be watching one of the greatest postseason runs of our lifetime. Keep it locked here, Westwood One Sports Night.
The NFL Draft is less than a month away, and we will take you behind the curtain, literally live from Pittsburgh for the 2026 Draft with exclusive interviews of your team's picks from your home of the NFL, Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Westwood One Sports Night. Here's Josh Graham and and Lynnell Willingham.
I'm super anxious because I feel I've made a bad decision, Lynnell Willingham.
Oh, it would be the first time.
Trying to be a go-getter and go the extra mile type of guy. I decided to book a flight at 5:30 a.m. Eastern time after this show finishes up at 3 a.m. Eastern and just not get a full cycle of sleep. Land in Indianapolis at the Final Four. Go on Bleck and Abdallah, who's going to be out that way Thursday and Friday, as well as us for tomorrow and Friday's programs. And do Radio Row as a guest throughout the day. Maybe get 3 or 4 hours of sleep in the afternoon leading up to the show. We'll see what comes out of it. But this seems like an awful idea, doesn't it?
Awful?
How little sleep do you operate on? Like, what is your average in terms of sleep consumption?
There's no consistency in my sleep. Because, yeah, there just isn't. I haven't been able to adjust to this new life. So I sleep when I'm tired, and I wake up when I'm not. That's kind of
a wise man.
It's kind of how I roll with the sleep pattern.
In relation to college basketball, we sleep in May. And with college basketball in mind and the Final Four in mind, let's talk about the UConn Huskies. If UConn is able to beat Illinois and then win on Monday night and cut down nets, that will be 3 titles in 4 years for Dan Hurley's team. Don't know if we can call it a dynasty because there are specific definitions in sports regarding that. Winning 3 in a row, that's usually what we reserve for dynastic talk. But think about this. UConn won its first title, Lynnell, in 1999. So when you're counting up how many championships they have won since, it's 1999, 2004, 2011 with Kemba Walker, 2014 with Shabazz Napier, and then they won back-to-back in 2003, 2004. That's 6 titles. If they win this, this is the 7th. No team has won more than 3 in college basketball since 1999. UConn will have won 7 since 1999. How significant would it be if the Huskies were to win? How far are you willing to go?
Look, the UConn stretch from, was it 66 to 73 or 67 to 73? Not UConn, excuse me, UCLA stretch from 67 to 73.
7 straight titles.
It's kind of hard to trump that, but it would be the greatest of our era, the greatest since then. And I don't know the specifics of that group, but like there were some like Hall of Fame level players on that UCLA team, correct? That went on to
Kareem and then Bill Walton.
Yeah, like this is a much less talented team in a more difficult era to win it, in my opinion. In terms of the NIL and the portal, I think it's more difficult to win nowadays in college basketball.
Yeah, you won't say it, but I will. This is more impressive. If they win 3 out of 4, that's more impressive than UCLA winning 7 in a row. Then you won't say it, but I will.
It's kind of it's hard because it's 7 in a row. Like
because here's the argument against. So this would be the first time it happens since the tournament expanded to 64 in 1985. Which means you had to win 6 games in a row in order to win a title. When UCLA was winning all of these are not this is not the detail that you ever hear included with the title talk. You had to win 3 games to
that changes
get there.
I'll be real. You just schooled me then.
And you're talking about you're talking about a much smaller tournament at that time, and the first few rounds are regionally scheduled. So you're talking about less talented teams on the West Coast. The East Coast has always been better than the West Coast in college basketball. That's why a West Coast team hasn't won since 1997, Arizona. Like you're talking about 30 years. UCLA got regionally scheduled opponents, fewer teams in the field, and let's not forget, Bob Knight has been the one saying, prior to him passing away, God rest his soul, that UCLA there might have been some benefits that were being handed out at UCLA that John Wooden turned a blind eye to at the time. They might have been ahead of the game in that regard too. So this UConn team, if they're to win 3 national championships in a 4-year period, something that, again, has not happened since UCLA at that time, it would be much more impressive. It would be the greatest run of success we've certainly seen in modern college basketball, and it would make Dan Hurley the new Coach K, officially. Like, Coach K was the guy in college basketball that moved the needle whenever he spoke. That's what Dan Hurley would be, and it would be fitting that the crystallizing moment, it would be, see, they blew out everybody when they won the first 2 titles. Having that iconic March moment, we're going to be talking about decades from now, with the way the Braylon Mullins shot was hit, that's going to be the thing you circle. If UConn finishes it off and wins a title, we're going to talk about that the same way we talked about Leitner hitting the shot in 92.
I think you're right, and I do think Coach Hurley needs – I feel like every time we talk about Coach Hurley, it's always through the lens of he's a madman. We probably should start talking about him through the lens of being a pretty damn good college basketball coach as well. I keep going back to it. Like, these teams that he's winning with – now, that 24 team was – those 2 teams are really good. This team in particular, I think, would be his most impressive feat yet, and more impressive than even those teams that were dominating everybody, because I think just from, like, 1 through 8 in terms of who they play in their rotation, like, they're not that good. They're not. Like, they had pros on that other team. I don't think there are a bunch of pros on this team. And it just he needs to be talked about more. And not just through the lens of being called a madman. Like, he is turned into one of the biggest brands in college basketball. And what I love about him and why I think I'll prefer a guy like him over Coach K or Roy Williams, he's relatable. His antics on the sideline, we all play video games. If you compete
we relate to what he did with Roger Ayers. Again, nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying he should have been punished, but I can't relate to that being what you do.
I'm saying just being, when I say relatable, like, he wears his emotions on his sleeve. That's relatable. That's how I am in a playing surface. That's how I am when I host this show. Like, there's a relatability factor with Dan Hurley. He's the common man. He's just like everybody else.
See,
we ding him for it because he's a college basketball coach. Everyone acts the way that he acts. If you don't understand the way that he acts, then you're not a competitor. How about that? That's how I would view it.
I'm with you on Dan Hurley versus Coach K's mannerisms. When you roped Roy Williams in, that's when I object to that a bit, because Roy Williams is as everyman as it gets. That guy is always chugging a Coca-Cola and going to ball games with who he calls Wicked Wanda, his wife, and that's the way that he daggum coached his
Wicked
team.
Wanda, that's good.
That's true. Him and Wicked Wanda are at ball games all the time. That man might be the most relatable coach there is, but Dan Hurley definitely is more. That's why I'd say that he's the new Coach K, but it's a different type. And what's interesting is you had so many coaches for decades try to recreate being Coach K. We're inspired by that style of coaching and that type of personality. I'm interested with Dan Hurley being central in the sport now and wearing his emotions on his sleeve the way he does, if that's then going to inspire the next wave of coaches to act similarly. I hope so, because I think that will make our jobs more interesting, and I think that will make the sport more interesting as well. We need more characters like Dan Hurley.
As long as it's authentic, Josh. That's my only caveat.
We've had so many authentic one-of-one personalities retire in the last 10 years. A guy with the suits like Jay Wright, Jim Boeheim and his antics, Roy Williams, as we just noted, Coach K, a one-of-one. And how are we replenishing that stock in college basketball might actually be a big storyline at a 1,000-foot view in this Final Four, because you have UConn on one side of the bracket and Dan Hurley that has these types of bona fides, but on the other side, you have Dusty May and Tommy Lloyd, who might be the next crop, the next wave, and can one of those men be the next head coach to cut down nets and win a national title, that would be big for the sport, because right now, the active list of head coaches that have won a national championship, it's only 7 names long. That's it. 7 names long, and a lot of those guys are 65 and up. It's Calipari. It's Bill Self, who's coming back, he says in a statement that he put out earlier tonight. It's Tom Izzo. It's the older types. It's not a lot of younger. The only guys who are younger than 55 years old that have won a national championship active, it's Todd Golden and Dan Hurley. That's the list. So can we add some more new blood in college basketball? Because I think in order to be a personality that people pay attention to, you have to win in order for people to care too, right?
That's all it's about. That's why I think Dan Hurley is being spoke about, period. I think that's as much as we talk about him being relatable and so on and so forth, his best trait is that he wins. and he's winning with this year a less talented team that was by far it just wasn't one of the best teams in the field. It just wasn't.
We played a clip of you last week at DC when Dan Hurley walked by saying, "Hey Dan," and him saying "what up" and giving you the peace sign back. Someone says, "JG, we're gonna need a 'Hey Dan' from you this weekend." So if I see Dan Hurley in DC, which I plan to, I plan to hit him with a "Hey Dan." That's the move.
It's just a "Hey Dan." That's just saying hi, man.
No, I appreciate it. But that's the only time I've ever heard you say anything without your full chest into it.
I didn't want to yell. I wanted to have some decorum in my stomping ground, you know.
And then the "what up" with the peace sign. It's great. We'll see if we can recreate that moment with Dan Hurley in Indianapolis, assuming I'm alive at this time tomorrow. I hope that's the case in terms of
your flight's not going to kill you, you big baby.
No, it's just more like sleep, lack of sleep. It's what I worry about. All right, we sleep in May. Since it's now the month of April officially, we need to talk about the draft and more specifically some wild NFL draft narratives out there. And that's next.
This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will be in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds.
Check, check, check. Testing 1, 2.
I hear you.
I hear me in my other headphones. He can hear me.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes.
I hear him loud and clear.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Westwood One Sports Night. Here's Josh Graham and Lynnell Willingham.
Get your dancing shoes on, because we're going to be here for a while. A couple more hours. Lynnell Willingham, Josh Graham, hanging out with you. We also got the NFL Draft later this month, now that the calendar's flipped officially to April. And here's how it works, Lynnell. The NFL media machine needs to be fed 12 months out of the year. But other than 1 week of free agency, there isn't a lot to discuss in March. In fact, you could say that these 3 weeks and maybe like a brief 3-week period in mid-May, the two slowest times of the NFL calendar. So in order to create content that moves the needle during a slow NFL time, you need to express some opinions that might be out there. And related to the draft, there seem to be some narratives that are growing in popularity that might be a bit on the wild side. The first one that comes to mind is Ruben Bain being the third edge rusher in pretty much every mock draft we're looking at.
Silly.
Explain it to me like I'm 5. I don't get it.
In terms of like why he's not being talked about as a top edge, or why he is the top edge. I think he's the best.
Why is Arvell Reese being viewed as the second overall pick? Someone explain that one to me too.
I think the Arvell Reese thing is about his ability to both cover and rush the passer. Don't know how well he's going to rush the passer though at the NFL level when he's going up against real offensive tackles who will engulf him
Maybe cover at the NFL level.
Or cover at the NFL level, if we're being honest. Now, I think that's more likely to translate because I think the guy's an athlete. But with Ruben Bain, like, I don't know why we're overthinking this. I know the arm length is something that has really gotten to people. There isn't a whole lot of a sample size with guys with his arm length working out and being a top-tier edge rusher in the league, but, like, he's different. Just when you watch him play football, he is just violent. Like,
we did this
overly violent.
We did this with Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons, how did he fall out of the top 10? Because people said he had short arms. I'd take that short-armed edge rusher over anybody out there. Now, I know people are going to say, well, this guy's arms are shorter. My give-a-damn level, to quote Lynnell Willingham, is a lot – it's a lot lower about arm length, given how big of a deal we made it. And this is, again, what we do this time of year, where we don't have anything substantive in terms of tape between the time the season ended and now, so we overemphasize measurables, and we overemphasize the importance of a pro day or the importance of the NFL Combine. Because anybody with eyeballs that watch Ruben Bain play can't possibly fathom a scenario. There are 2 edge rushers in America. You would take that guy over.
No, I think he's the most complete NFL-ready plug-and-play rusher in the entire draft. Like, he's got a pass rush plan. He's got counters. He knows how to use his hands. In sub-packages, you can line him up as a 3-tech, and he can win from the interior. I just don't think there's a whole lot that Ruben Bain can't do in terms of being a rusher. The bend is elite, as we've seen in some private workouts. I don't know why scouts are overthinking this. And the other part is this, like, the production's off the charts. Like, the production's off the charts, people. Like, I don't know where we got off that, like, and I like him playing the run, too. This is why I prefer him over David Bailey. David Bailey, as a pure pass rusher, I think rivals Ruben Bain. But I think in terms of setting the edge, there's not a better edge setter in this class than Ruben Bain. So it's confusing. I don't understand why. It's probably the stupidest thing. This is dumber to me than Ty Simpson in terms of the way he's been talking.
We'll get to that. We'll get to Ty Simpson in a second. Here's where I stand when it comes to separating these edges. I think Arbel Reese doesn't do any of the 2 things that people are clamoring. Whoa, he does them both at such an elite level that he's worthy of being the 2nd pick in the draft. And he plays on a defense that has so much talent around him that's a red flag too, where you can benefit by the fact that you have so many other guys on that defense that an offense has to worry about on a week-to-week basis. We've seen examples of this in the past decade. We saw it with Jalen Walker last year, who did not have a great rookie year, came out of Georgia, and you got a ton of talent on that defense all over the place, full of NFL guys. And we saw it with maybe a better comp, Isaiah Simmons, coming out of Clemson, who had Christian Wilkins, who had Dexter Lawrence on that defense, that had Cleveland Farrell, who was a top 10 pick. Like, you had Terrell at corner, so many great dudes on that defense. Oh, but he can rush the passer and he can play on the inside. I'm sorry. I want you, if I'm taking you in the top 5 or taking you in the top 10, I want a specialist. I want you to do something amazingly well, and I want the one thing. I know what Ruben Bain's going to do, so I'll prefer him over Arbel Reese, Mr. Do a bunch of things okay, probably at the NFL level, rather than one thing amazingly. And then when it comes to David Bailey, real quick, I would take Ruben Bain over David Bailey because I just think he's a higher level of talent going back to when he was in high school. The kids who were going after him, or the schools that were going after him, were different than the schools that were going after David Bailey, who wasn't really dominating all that much at Stanford prior to arriving at Texas Tech. So that's how I separate that. Give me the elite guy who has the production, who has the skill set. You could spare me on the talk about his arm length.
I agree with you. But when I sit and I think, my brain goes back like 2 hours ago. You talk about not doing one thing great doing a bunch of things well. It sounds like you're describing Fernando Mendoza.
No.
Just saying. I'm just saying. But I would. That was a drive-by
the best player
comment.
in college football this year.
It was a drive-by comment. But yeah, because he won the Heisman. I know.
He won the Heisman.
He won the Heisman.
He carried an Indiana team that didn't beat anybody the year before because they're Indy Freakiana and got blown out in the playoff game by Notre Dame and made them one of the best college football teams of all time. And there isn't another team, there isn't another player that's going to be taken in the top 20 picks from that team. He carried them. So that's not the same thing remotely.
Omar Cooper's going to be.
He's not going in the top 20.
Yeah, he is.
He's not going to go in the top 20. He'll be at the end of the first round.
We'll see on that. But I was just giving you crap about Mendoza. We've hashed it out enough.
Yeah.
There's
okay,
another
let's get
draft.
To Ty Simpson then, because the other crazy draft take. I'm sorry, we were right on this, Lynnell. Right when the season ended, we were talking about it should be more likely that Ty Simpson is a second-round pick than he's on the same wavelength as Fernando Mendoza as being seen as the top guy. Somehow, we've been given more time to think about this, and we see the draft gurus pop up, and you know who you are, who's out here saying Ty Simpson's remotely as good as Fernando Mendoza. Makes my head want to explode as if we don't have eyeballs. And again, he didn't have a ton of support. Poor old Ty Simpson at Alabama didn't have enough support versus Fernando Mendoza in Indiana.
Why? This is what you got to stop doing, though, because I agree with you. But stop acting like Indiana did not have an elite supporting cast for him. They were one of the best rushing attacks in all of college football. They were one of the best rushing attacks in all of college football. One of the best defenses in all of college football. One of the best offensive lines in all of college football. Ty Simpson, of all of the FBS starters, had the third most drops last year. So, yes, there is some credence and some merit to his supporting cast letting him down. You compare the running attack that Indiana had versus the running attack that Alabama had with Ty Simpson, it's night and day. Here's what I'll say about Fernando Mendoza versus Ty Simpson.
He's got Ryan Williams that he's throwing.
Who the hell is Ryan Williams? Ryan Williams is, come on, brother. He's a myth.
When you're talking about elite supporting cast, I'm not going to pretend that Indiana has, say, what Ohio State has, where Julian Sayin is throwing the ball to Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith out that way and has two really good running backs.
Supporting cast is not about who you're
like. That's not what he has.
The supporting cast to me is not just defined by who you're throwing to. His offensive line was elite.
The running backs too.
His offensive line was elite. Was barely touched this year. Why
aren't they getting drafted in the first round? None of their O-line looked as first-round.
Some of their parts, but maybe the offensive line is more of a sum of their parts thing, and they don't have an elite prospect. But he had one of the better offensive lines in football last year, and the numbers say it.
It was fine.
My biggest criticism of him, though, if I'm being honest, it's an old stat that is proved to be pretty reliable in terms of predicting future success at the quarterback position. The knock for me with him, how he functions, I've used this phrase a gazillion times. Y'all should already know what I'm about to say. How he functions when it's not 75 degrees and sunny. His pressure to sack ratio is not good. It's amongst the worst in college football. So, and out for your Joe Burrow comp, that was also an area where Joe Burrow struggled. So that's going to be the question here. But it's also an area where Desmond Ridder struggled. You know what I'm saying? So it's about figuring out, like, who is he more closer to being? What's more likely? Him being Joe Burrow or him being somewhere closer to Desmond Ridder?
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow is a top 4 quarterback in the sport. You're saying we just got another one growing on trees that came from Indiana. If he was why couldn't he lift Indiana up over Notre Dame in the college football playoff in 2024?
He didn't play them. He wasn't on the team.
You're right, he wasn't on the team. When Jeremiah Love busted the 98-yard run, that was not Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah.
You're right.
No, it was Curtis Rourke, and they got rolled. That's my point. They didn't get rolled with Fernando Mendoza.
Fernando Mendoza's a dork. Kidding. I had to make myself feel better after being wrong. You know what I'm saying, though, Josh?
I don't. But let's go to Denton Day.
You're standing for this guy for whatever reason. I don't know. Like, does he have nude photos of you?
No, maybe it's because I'm a big fan of ABBA, and there's a great song called Fernando by ABBA that I stand.
Who's ABBA?
Let's go to Denton Day, who's the keeper. Wow, what's ABBA? Dancing Queen means nothing to you? Let's go to Denton Day, who's the keeper of the text line. What do you have? Because you can call us and text us, 310-840-4910. B-Dot's going to join us in less than 10 minutes, the most entertaining guest in sports talk. D-Day, what do you got?
So we got ourselves a text message that, I hope you're sitting down for it because this goes all over the place. This person did not leave their name. That might be a good thing. They text us and they said, one life lesson I will follow as I never express a thought that I wouldn't say to a subject face to face. You kind of sound like dweebs and a smarty pants as a wardrobe staple, but I just get the sense that you're a guy that no one sees coming, and the nice guy persona can project a false sense of weakness. Consider yourself estimated, and I'm sure you're a pretty cool hang. Oh, and as a Carolina kid, have you ever witnessed a witch burning? I think he thinks Carolina's in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
I'm so confused
at the witch burning. But help me out here, Lynnell. How would you rank these insults in order in terms of what's most heinous? Because this is when you have glasses like this, like big frame glasses, hashtag big frame gang, you get booger picker, you get nerd, you get dweeb, and you get dork quite a bit. How would you rank those in order of things you don't want to be? See, I think booger picker is not as bad as booger eater. You know, like being a booger eater,
I think booger picker might be exclusive to you. I've been called the other ones. I've never been called a booger picker.
Well, I just saying that's something that's out there when people were talking about nerds. You go get
Oliver,
those nerds!
Oliver, have you ever been called a booger picker? No? Okay. Just confirming.
Okay. Maybe somebody just had a really sick burn.
Why are people so mean to you?
Resonated.
I don't like that. Honestly, the person who thought that they were funny and wanted to be mean to my friend Josh, why don't you be mean to me?
I like the meanness. I welcome it. I've always had. I've always been the guy who's easy to pick fun. No, bring it.
No one likes being made fun of, Josh. You don't have to.
No, I sincerely like it. Sincerely. Bring it.
Do you need a hug?
No.
Do I need a hug?
One of those things, you know?
Josh, well, I guess that's an option available for both of you.
People don't insult you unless they care, Lynnell. I take it as a sign that people care. That's what I'm saying. And here's the thing. I'm telling the truth. If people care enough to say mean things, that's a good thing. I don't care what anyone outside my family and friends think about me. It's fine if you feel that way. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Fire off, King. Fire off in the text. 310-840-4910.
Don't call him a king.
Westwood One Sports 9. No. Fire it all out there.
We're kind of dodging the witch burning question.
Yeah, what is because it sounded racist, so I don't
said
want to touch
no.
it. What is witch
no.
burning? Is that just a little burning of a witch?
History, there's you know what? This might be something that we can get to at a later point because B-Dot's sitting there waiting. In addition to taking us to grammar school, B-Dot, who's a super fan of the Tar Heels and the Dallas Cowboys, I'll add. He'll join the show to share his thoughts on the UNC coaching search and perhaps Lynnell liking Dallas to win the NFC East this year. Daht joins us next.
The Final Four is set. Illinois versus UConn. Michigan against Arizona. It all starts Saturday at 5 Eastern. And your countdown to tip starts right here, right now, from your home of the NCAA tournament. Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will be in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
is Westwood One Sports Night. Here's Josh Graham and Lynnell Willingham.
The most entertaining guest in sports talk is Daht. I'm Josh Graham. That's Lynnell Willingham, by the way. He takes us to grammar school each week. Lord knows what direction that's going to go in. But we must start in this place since you are a diehard North Carolina fan. There's been a meme that's been very popular on the internet since Sunday night involving the head coach at Duke, John Shire, In fact, I believe we have it just in case we need it on today's show at any point. It's just John having an awkward smile in the face of something incredibly shocking playing out right in front of him, which was his team losing at the Horn in the presence of Lynnell Willingham and Denton Day, who were both there in D.C. What did you enjoy most about Duke's loss against UConn?
Just how unexpected it was. It was a real treat for a Carolina fan like myself. I'm sitting there every game just hoping they lose and just silently rooting for the other team. And, when they went up so many points, I was like, dang, man, like, this really might be the team, man. This is the team. I'd already saw them in the Final Four playing against Illinois and seeing how bad they would beat Illinois and thinking, gosh, man, if we would have handled business, then we could have been the team they faced again in the Final Four. And they'll just move on to the national. And as I'm having this conversation, UConn is remembering that they've got a basketball game to play. And I just keep looking at the score. And as I'm continuing to put Duke in the Final Four, I continue to see that Coach Hurley does not quite have Duke in the Final Four yet. Coach Hurley seems to think there's still a basketball game that he can win right here on tonight. And that's not possible because this team has been up 19 points the same way that my Carolina Tar Heels were up 19 points. The basketball gods would no way allow this Duke team to be up 19 points and have a team come back so close to the Final Four that I'm hypothetically putting them in. And as I look up, there's but one last hurrah. And wait, Duke hit 69 first. And the first team to hit 69 wins 80% of the time. And there's Duke. And back to the Final Four they go. But wait, there's more. There's a last second shot. By Jellicoe's Willie. They got it. They lost. Yes. Thank you, basketball gods.
Does that just? I didn't even think about it from the lens of like Carolina blew a 19-point lead. So did Duke. It's like a hex on the whole state of North Carolina. That's awful.
No, you don't understand, though, Lynnell. Like, we always do that. When we win a championship, they win a championship. When they win a championship, we win a championship. We blow a 19-point lead, they blow a 19-point lead. It's the synergy of Carolina versus Duke, which honestly is one of the reasons why HD had the fate that he had, because we're always comparing Carolina basketball to Duke, regardless of whoever says it. And, but for them to continue to get to this level and to pee the bed every single time, man, like the last 5 years for Duke, the last decade for Duke has been disastrous. Since they won a natty in 2015, it's been disastrous. Look it up, Josh. Look it up.
Three straight Elite Eights and a Final Four appearance is not disastrous.
When you get ran down the way you get ran down, yes, the hell it is, Josh Graham. From the Final Four, you get ran down by Carolina. Houston, you get ran down. NC State, you get ran down. Like, stop playing. The fashion in how you lose, that matters as well, regardless of where you end up at. This Duke teams have had, when you put these names beside each other, you got 2 NBA starting fives worth of talent on these teams, and to not even make it to the Final Four, you're talking about knocking on the doors of the Elite Eight. And that's something else. They talk about the standard of Carolina basketball. I thought the standard of Duke basketball was to get to the Final Four and to get to the Natty. They ain't done that. They just knocking on the door of the Elite Eight. Is that now the standard for Duke basketball? Fire Shire! Fire Shire! Fire Shire!
Woo! B-Dot's with us. Lynnell Willingham, Josh Graham, Westwood One Sports Night. We'll do grammar school in a bit. Speaking of Hubert Davis, have you settled on a coach that you've convinced yourself North Carolina is going to get?
I want Tommy, man. I want Tommy Lloyd. Everybody's gassed up Tommy Lloyd. I've been doing my homework on him. I realized that he's been in Arizona for the same length of time that HD has been at Carolina, but his trajectory and the things that he's been doing over there in the Big 12 are totally different from what we've been doing. I'm talking about tournament back-to-back champions, winning the conference. He hasn't quite got to the Elite Eight, to the Final Four yet, but this is the year, of course, he changed that. And I'm just optimistic that he wins the whole damn thing, man. I want him to win the national championship, because then I think he will sleep a lot better taking a job at Carolina. I feel like he's fully invested in this Arizona situation, and he wants to get them to the mountaintop, not just the Final Four. He wants them to hang a banner. And if he doesn't do that this year, I feel like Coach Lloyd is so loyal of an individual that he'll have unfinished business and want to go back to Arizona. But if they should happen to cut down these nets, he'll feel like, hey, job's done. Heading on over here to Carolina to some greener pastures, to some Carolina blue skies, and then we can get some of them recruits.
I feel for y'all because I know this is a tough spot to be in as a fan, where you're like begging for somebody to come coach a team, and like that's what it sounds like. Now, I'll be honest with you, you my good brother. Y'all are screwed. Whoever y'all get, I'm totally rooting against it. If I'm being honest, Cat is out of the bag. I hate the way that they did HD. So now I feel like they deserve bad things to happen to them as a program because the boosters don't want to support them anymore. All back-to-back opening round losses. Now all of a sudden you've lost the support of the donors after you're the only coach here in recent memory that's whooped Duke's ass. It got you to the damn natty in year one. I don't know. It's crazy.
No, like to your point though, Lynnell, like they beat me into submission at this point. There's nothing else I can do. I can continue to I continue to follow my sword of Hubert Davis was fired incorrectly, but we got to make a decision here.
See, I'm the one that's trying. Hold one sec. I'm trying to be the one that's consistent. I didn't think that Hubert should be fired because I did think that the Caleb Wilson injury, he was meeting the standard prior to that. However, I'm also not the guy saying that John Shire isn't meeting the standard either. So you can't be the guy saying at Duke it's a failure if you haven't made the if gone as far as the Final Four of the Elite Eight in 3 straight seasons, and then say back-to-back first-round losses isn't a fireable offense supposed to be your equal. Can't be both those things.
No, but to that point, that's my reasoning for the John Shire. If you're going to fire HD, then John Shire should be on this hot seat. Like the fact that John Shire isn't on the hot seat because the overall consensus is, well, he's getting a great talent, and at least it's the Elite Eight. Is the knocking on the door for the Elite Eight the standard? Like when you think about, like John Shire hasn't done that much better than HD record-wise, but yes, he has more hardware.
Hold 1 second. Lynnell's got his hand up.
Being neutral, because y'all are both like y'all bleed the North Carolina. I always have looked at in my 28 years of life, like Duke, North Carolina.
Like you have North Carolina a little lower as well.
Just because they land on all the top recruits. They're the one that get all the high fancy draft picks that have big time, impact in the NBA.
Hold one sec. That's reversed. When growing up, it was the exact opposite. All the Carolina people would say, we got Jordan and Worthy and Stackhouse and Jameson, and your best Christian Laettner did nothing in the NBA. It was a complete flip. It used to be the exact opposite of what you're describing.
Crazy rivalry.
And that's more to the point of my initial point with Carolina and Duke, the synergy between them. Because Josh is exactly right. Like I grew up a teenager in the 90s, Lynnell. So like when I was growing up, they had Bobby Hurley and Christian Laettner, dude. We got Ed Cota, Vince Carter, Jameson, Stackhouse. Like we stacked. You did. Like we were the urban school. We were turned. Now it's flipped. They got the Duke starting 5 haircuts and all these guys. Like it's like, what the hell is going on? Like, so to your point, I agree with you. I don't like the way HD was fired, but the reality is we have to get a coach. And it does feel like we're begging. And I hate that for us. But I do hope we get Tommy Lloyd. I don't want to get Donovan, but if we do get Billy Donovan, I heard word that John Shire might leave Duke and go to Chicago.
I love it. B-Dot's with us here. Lynnell Willingham, Westwood One Sports Night. Let's get to grammar school. You got some urban terms to throw at me. I try to get at least 2 out of 3 to get a passing grade. It's an educational program here. What do you have to get us started?
All right, we're going to go back to church the same way we left church on the last episode, Josh Graham.
Easter weekend.
Yeah, Easter weekend is coming up, man. And again, you might want to get your church on with some of these basketball players. And at the church, the pastor might say, let the church say, and the entire church will say this word.
Man, I wish I could have Jaden Ivey as like a tag in real quick to
my
potentially
gosh.
give me the answer. Sorry, had to do it. I'm going to say amen. Is that okay?
That is correct. That is
Yes,
correct. That is correct. Let the church say amen. Good job. Good
Let the
job.
church say
Good job.
amen.
Look at Lynnell. He's not impressed. He is
Not impressed at all. It's okay.
All right.
Up next, I'm trying to remember if I've given you these last two on this show. I hope not. But if I did, then you should go 3-0. What are bundles?
Bundles?
Oh, man.
Bundles?
Yeah, what are bundles?
This is church related.
No, this is not church related at all. This is just.
And you should be embarrassed because The word did come up, and you didn't get it right that time, and you're not going to get it right again.
Bundles came up?
Bundles, yes. I think we have bundles have been used, yes.
I don't remember this. Bundles.
That makes it even worse for you, Josh. And I think because he's giving you – this is how you know you don't do your homework. You're getting the same answers wrong on the test.
Exactly.
Look, I'm telling you, that's something that gets you punished from report.
Dende, voice of God. Do you remember us getting bundles before? Because I don't at all. Just
Man, leave me out of this. You got this. It's all you.
But do you remember this? I don't need help. I need to know if we did this before. I'm tripping. That's what I'm saying.
I don't remember either. I know. I promise.
All right. I am stalling. That's true.
Because I lifelined you for it.
Well, then I'm going to lifeline you again. What does bundle mean?
You shouldn't be allowed to lifeline me.
Why not?
I'll give you a hint.
Look, Lynnell's got agitated. Lynnell is upset.
And I'm like, I can't even believe that you got something wrong twice. Like, that's crazy.
I need help. This is the game. Just tell me what it is.
Just tell you what it is. Bundles is like hair, right? Bundles. The girls.
I got it. Oh, that makes sense. It's bundles of
hair. Of course it makes sense. It's the second time you're hearing it. You probably heard it in North Carolina.
It makes sense. Bundles of hair.
This may be your third or fourth time. Who knows? That's actually, honestly, you're not getting any better. You're going in the wrong direction.
I got the first one right. Okay, let's see if I can do it. Let's see if I can get the last one on my own here. All right.
You got it wrong as if you would have said like wallahi or something like that. Let the church say wallahi.
What's the last? All right, what's the last one here?
Hey, watching Lynnell crash out. That's amazing. That's amazing. He lost it. All right, Josh, what are grippers? Last one, grippers.
Grippers.
What am I even here for? You already used me, so it's like literally. I mean, I'm gonna brush my hair. Maybe I'm
grippers. I actually remember this one. I remember grippers. It's like your fingernails.
There we go. There we go. There we go. Good job.
I am learning. I am learning.
Good job, Josh. Good job.
Hey, and by the way, we can all be in a good mood right now because the other thing you should know about Daht, in addition to being the biggest Tar Heel fan out there, he's the biggest Dallas Cowboy fan ever. And Lynnell says that the Cowboys might be the second best team in the NFC and they're going to win the NFC East.
Cowboys fan?
How do you feel about that, Daht? How do you feel? That's what he's saying.
I think that's amazing. I hope he's right. And you
don't feel as good about it? You don't feel as good about that?
It was just
like almost looks embarrassed that he's a Cowboys fan. He's like, damn, he found out I was a Cowboys fan.
No, I love being a Cowboys fan, but like I hate being a Cowboys fan, if that makes any sense. Like it's just
look at my wall, man. I'm in
that. For him to
I'm
say
in a toxic relationship.
See, he's all in on your team.
Why do you think that, though? Why do you think that, Lynnell?
I think that because I think when you have 2 first-round picks, that's 2 starters you could add to a side of the football in your defense. That's really your only issue right now. Your offensive line is one of the better ones in the league. My only concern is they're screwing around with George Pickens.
That's what I was about to ask.
David Mulugeta, like, why does he keep playing around with Mulugeta? He already showed you.
That's Jerry Jones, man. Like from Emmitt Smith, like he loves playing around with contracts and and like juggling over. Like he just likes having all the storylines the entire offseason, regardless how detrimental it is to the psyche of the player. And you don't want to mess up the psyche of GP, man.
But GP is a crash out, so I actually think this could be something that like motivates him secretly. Like, oh, they don't want to pay me. Wait till I get back out on the field. I'll be the best wide receiver in football. If they handle that, and then they add 2 more starters defensively, preferably corner and edge. I mean, their offense is a top 5. Dak's the most stable quarterback in the division. He's the most trustworthy quarterback in the division. So I think Dallas got it going on.
B-Dot, we always love that you stay up with us and spend time with us. We look forward to doing the same next week. Thank you so much, and we'll talk soon. Oh, you know what to do.
You got to thank the Sativa for me being up with you guys. Thank the Sativa. But everybody listening, hey, make sure you do one thing and keep listening.
The Masters, where spring blooms, legends rise, and golf's most sacred traditions come alive. Every Masters moment on the Westwood One Sports app. We're live from Augusta, starting April 9th. Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Westwood One Sports Night. Here's Josh Graham and and Lynnell Willingham.
Lynnell Willingham, I'm holding my passport. I'm holding in my other hand my wallet. I'm about to leave on a flight in just the next few hours to Indy. If you can tell me the artist or the song that Oliver's playing right now, I'll give you my wallet. I'll give you my passport.
Slipknot.
Not a
Slipknot.
terrible guess.
Korn.
No, it's not Korn. This is
Acid Rock.
This is Ocean Avenue.
3 Doors Down.
Oliver by Yellow Card. Is that correct?
Yellow Card.
Yellow Card.
Give me your wallet now.
Here.
I think he'd
here
be
you
able
go.
to
You
use your passport very well. You guys do look very similar at like TSA.
So, can I ask a question? And y'all like to, every time I ask common man questions, you guys treat me like I'm the stupidest kid on the block. So here we go. Why do you need a passport at the airport? What about your ID?
I don't have a real ID yet, so I need to use
Hold
my
on.
passport.
I've sat here and lauded you as this responsible adult. You're a father. You're a husband. You're a college basketball insider. And you don't have
I don't
you
have,
don't have your
yet.
ID? I'm only laughing because Denton is just contagious.
I'm
bro.
laughing at you because you don't know what real ID is.
I am clearly, I think you don't know because your reaction is such that you think that I don't have, identification. Do you know what real ID is?
Hold on. No. Y'all not going to do this to me. I tell y'all all the time. You said you don't have a real ID.
No,
that means you
I
got
don't
a
have
fake
real
one.
ID. No, D-Day.
No.
Would you like to tell Lynnell?
Do I got a real ID?
No, you do not have I can promise you, you have a driver's license. A real ID is something that you have to go get at the DMV, give them 80,000 pieces of paperwork for them to justify allowing you to get on a plane with just your driver's license.
Without passport.
Without
or
a passport.
Birth certificate, I think.
Is it the dumbest thing on the planet? It's close.
Yeah.
It's on the list.
But that's the reason why I have my passport. I don't have a real ID on my
It's shifted over in
driver's license.
2025.
How funny would it be
flown
if D-Day, don't show the camera your driver's license. I don't know if that'd be wise. But if you have your driver's license, you watch D-Day. He probably has it and doesn't even know it. You're going to look at his passport. He's going to look at his ID. He's going to see that big old star in the corner and be like, yep, I've got real ID. Well, I don't. And he's not even going to know that he doesn't.
So I don't need a passport. I'm normal.
No, I think
would
you
bring
might
a
need a
passport
passport
next time you go to the
I
airport.
venture to say you probably do, unless you have.
Well, I
the
don't have
star
a
in the
passport.
corner
So
of
what?
your-
They're not going to let me fly?
Probably
The youngest
not.
in charge. Damn it.
Well, you can get
310-840-4910.
Great perks, rental cars.
Let's go to Tony, who's in Pittsburgh. Tony, help us steer away from the real ID discussion into something more important. What do you have, Tony?
Lifelong Steelers fan here. Also, I just wanted to say, enjoy the show, guys. I've been working
Do you have
second
real
shift
ID?
for
Do you
a
have
month
real
now,
ID?
so
Do you have
I
real
do
ID,
not.
Tony?
No, I have a passport, so I'm
So
good.
Tony, we can carpool together, man. You let me know where you trying to go, brother. The
Well,
world
he
is
has
ours.
a passport. He has a passport. Like
But hold
me.
on. So talk to me like I'm stupid. What do you need to fly in 2026?
A passport.
You need a passport or a real ID.
But if you have a real ID, but if you have a passport and no ID, then what?
Well, the passport is ID.
Then you can use your license still, but you get charged extra like $30 or something.
I'm telling you, boy. It's this
Capitalism.
United States government that we got, boy.
All right, help us out. What's
Thank
on your
you for
mind?
tuning into the show during second shift, though, brother. We welcome you in.
Yeah. Enjoy the show, guys. You guys have done a great job. Westwood One in general. I think you guys do well. But my thing is, I'm just real excited about the Steelers and looking forward. I think we're probably a year or two away because we got to find that quarterback. But the thing I'm most excited about with this franchise is, just getting to the new era style of running an organization with Kahn and these guys, and kind of the reset with Tomlin stepping away. I think the McCarthy hire was not in that insight of moving forward as the way organizations run their things now with trades and a young offensive mind head coach. But I do like the hire with him just because of the quarterback development side. And I don't think he's going to be here all that long. So, but I really like the signings that Colin and Waddle have brought in the last few off seasons and trying to really shore up that offensive line.
Can you do me a favor?
The most important thing in football.
Can you do me a favor? Can you stop crediting Omar Khan and just give all the credit to Waddell? We know who the football brain is there in Pittsburgh. It's not Omar Khan, I promise.
No,
I don't
he's
think
more of a business guy.
Exactly.
I think it's Weidl behind the scenes. Weidl's more of a football guy.
But here's my thing, man.
But
why are you guys doing? If you guys were like, y'all are the Pittsburgh Steelers, and in consecutive years, you all are being held hostage by this egotistical maniac, Aaron Rodgers. Like, why not just go get a real quarterback? 10-7, but
he had a
couldn't
good year, and he won
the
the
lowest
division.
yards per attempt in the NFL. He couldn't push the ball down the field. He's crippled.
Well, what's the better alternative? Tell me what the better alternative
I
is.
agree with that. I agree
Go
with
get
that
a veteran.
in the sense of delaying the
Aaron
inevitable.
Rodgers is a veteran.
I'm kind of in agreement with I think that it's the options, right? I think the best way to build your football team, being a coach myself and a former player, is just to build everything up first on your roster. Fill your roster with talent everywhere, especially up front in the trenches on both sides. Then you get your talented skill guys, and you add that quarterback at the right moment. And you got to hit on a rookie quarterback. That's the reason why I don't want Rodgers back. I mean, we hear all this talk about Will Howard in Pittsburgh and how great of a sixth-round pick he was, and the intangibles and the size and everything, and the arm talent with him. Baby. So let's see it. I want him to play all year this year. Whatever happens, happens. I think you got a great roster around him, so I don't think you're going to bought him out. But if you bought him out because he stinks, you get a better pick, and you go and get your quarterback for the future.
You calling from Pittsburgh. You calling from Pittsburgh, right? Where in Pittsburgh are you calling from? Because I know just from my time out there, the IQ levels vary from borough to borough out there.
Oh, my God.
You seem like a smart
I'm not in Allegheny County. I'm Westmoreland County. I'm from Greensburg.
Yeah, the Allegheny County people, I mean, they're off their rocker. You said you coach. You coaching in the Whip Hill? Where you coaching at, man?
Yep, Whip Hill.
Yep. Shout out to Whip, man. A lot of legends have come out of the Whip. If I would have played in the Whip, legend. I would have been a Whip legend.
Well, appreciate the phone call out your way in Pittsburgh a great deal, because you're talking about – this is my problem with Steeler fans, man, and it's not just this thing here. It's – taking 10-7 for granted and Aaron Rodgers having his best season in 5 years, it's not good enough. 10-7 is good enough, and winning a division that features the Ravens, the Browns, and the Bengals.
You have 6 championships as an organization. No, it's not good enough.
It is good enough. It's good enough for everybody, and it should be good enough for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You haven't won a title since 2008. I'm sorry. 10-7 and winning the division.
So you're in
Aaron
here.
Rodgers had a good year.
Are you in your right mind?
And you still didn't answer my question.
Yes.
Who's a better alternative that they could land better than Aaron Rodgers?
Dog, first of all, they don't even know if the guy's going to play, first and foremost. What they should be doing is what the caller alluded to, what I've been screaming ever since the season ended. They should give the keys to Will Howard. 2026 should be figuring out what you have in Will Howard.
Nope.
Why waste time?
You fall back on that. You fall back on that if Aaron Rodgers turns you down, sure. But if Aaron Rodgers had his best year in 5 seasons, man. You won 10 games. You won the division. Why would you bail on that if you don't have to? Will Howard's a good backup plan. If Aaron does not come back, why not? What is the downside?
I just think if you're the Steelers, like, at what point are you going to date to marry, not just date to sleep around and get pleased? They need a long-term answer. Bottom line. Everything they're doing gives just met her at the club, she's coming back to my room vibes. Like, how many different nights are you going to live like that? Steelers, go find your long-term answer at the game's most important position. I'm tired of watching the Yins. Aren't y'all tired of getting your hearts broken by stopgaps? Mitch Trubisky, Russell Wilson. Justin Fields, Duck Hodges. The list, it goes on and on and on. The Steelers should want better for themselves. It can't be that good. Go find you something long-term. Come on, man.
Do we have Aaron Glenn talking about quarterbacks as well? Speaking of veteran quarterbacks, Aaron Glenn was speaking about Geno Smith at NFL owners' meetings, and this is what he had to say about the Jets quarterback.
Something about a quarterback, and I'm going to say a quarterback with a chip on his shoulder. And listen, he's proven a lot in this league of what he's done, especially when you take those times when he was in Seattle. listen, he fits exactly what we're trying to do. So obviously we've created an identity. The foundation of our offense is pretty good now. Like, I just feel like he's the guy that's going to lead us to the promised land. He's the guy that's going to touch the ball more than anybody else on offense.
Geno Smith would have been a better option for the Steelers than Aaron Rodgers.
Hell no.
Like,
hell no.
I mean, there's one guy still can throw it and still has real zip and pop behind his passes, and the other doesn't.
He had the best year he had in 5 years.
Geno Smith through 3 years as a starter in Seattle is better than what Aaron Rodgers did last year. I'll tell you that.
How about last year for Geno Smith? Are we going to forget about that?
It was in a horrible situation.
24 touchdowns, 7 picks, 3,300 yards passing in 16 games.
He was in a horrible situation.
No. That is Aaron Rodgers' stats.
That's
from
great.
Last year. 24
going off
and
of last
7.
year.
Of course I'm going off of last year. Why wouldn't you? He's one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. And he had a good year for the first time in 5 years. I'm sorry.
Geno Smith at 24 completed 70% of his passes and threw for damn near 4,400 yards. Like that, Geno Smith's the better quarterback at this point.
Aaron Rodgers completed 66% of his throws last year.
But like, I don't think there's a person. I don't think there's a person out there in NFL circles that would tell you they would prefer Rodgers to Geno right now.
I think there are a ton that would disagree.
You know, a lot
with
of people. Send a text or two out.
I would happily do so. I don't know if they're awake at this hour, though. We'll see.
They're listening to us. You're damn right they're awake.
840-4910 if you want in. How about we ask this question? Which quarterback do you think, newcomer on their team, is going to have the most successful season next year? And who's going to have the worst out of the newcomer quarterbacks? 310-840-4910. Call us, text us. That's next on Westwood One Sports Night.
This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Westwood One Sports Night. Here's Josh Graham and Lynnell Willingham.
It took 3 hours, but we found a quarterback that Lynnell Willingham likes. Geno Smith apparently is Lynnell's guy, and he likes him more than Aaron Rodgers, who won 10 games, won the AFC North, 24 touchdowns, 7 picks, while Geno had a horrific season with Vegas and now is with the New York Jets. So rather than immediately diving headfirst into what we said we would, which is, hey, which newcomer is going to have the best season, who's going to have the worst among the newcomers across the league, let's just ask the question. 310-840-4910. Call us, text us. Geno Smith or Aaron Rodgers? And here's the part, Lynnell. We'll let you choose your own adventure just because I find where we could go with this to be fascinating. Would you rather go to Baltimore or go to Pittsburgh?
I want to go to Pittsburgh.
Answer to that question.
Let's
go to Joe. Let's go to Joe's in Pittsburgh. Aaron Rodgers or Geno Smith, Joe?
Josh and Lynnell, great to be with you guys. It's an interesting question, but I'm going to agree with you, Josh. It's Aaron Rodgers over Geno any day of the week. And here's the big thing. I think you hit on a lot of really good points. But more than anything, you got to think about that receiving core that Rodgers was working with last year. After DK Metcalf, there was absolutely nothing. Not to mention, Arthur Smith was a slightly better version of Matt Canada. I know here in Pittsburgh, we're excited to see Arthur Smith gone. I don't think that was talked about enough during the season. And now that you got Michael Pittman in the fold, I like it a little bit more. I like to see the Steelers add another receiver. There's talks they could do it in the first round. I like their track record for getting receivers late in the draft, even though that was the Tomlin era. But I think more than anything, like I said, if you give Aaron Rodgers a little bit more in terms of talent around him, kind of building on Josh's point, I think he can have an even better season last year. There was zip on the ball, and now I hate to say it, there was plenty of zip on the ball. But like I said, it was just a matter of not having enough pieces around him.
Joe, it's interesting
That's
you
one
say
way
that.
to
I
look at it.
appreciate the call. But, Joe, because Lynnell, you have bashed the Steelers for not having a lot of skill guys around
Correct.
other than DK Metcalf. And you said you loved the Mike McCarthy pickup because of what he is offensively and how he could help. So are you suggesting that Aaron Rodgers is not in as good of a situation
I love
now
when we can.
as Geno Smith is in
I love
New
when
York?
I love when we can make bets on the show. You want to make a bet? How you feeling? You want to wager?
How'd you do with the bet that we did at exactly last time we did this a week ago, where we did our draft and you
lost the bet? But here's the thing:
considerably.
when you're a habitual winner the way that I am, you do not sweat the losses. Is what I would say.
Aha.
You don't sweat them.
Got
You
it.
move on. You park it. You kiss and ride.
What is the bet that you're interested in making?
I am willing to bet that Geno Smith will outperform Aaron Rodgers statistically.
What is the metric?
During
What's
the
the metric?
2026 season?
How do you define that?
How do I define that? I think if the Jets and the Steelers played right now, I'd take the Jets.
Because D-Day, we already know how this goes. It's
If
going to
the
be,
Jets and the
well,
Steelers-
his rating was higher than this, and he's going to tell me that this guy was better when all the common sense tells it. You're making it very easy to dodge this. And I'm trying to find, you want to do win-loss record?
I'm not a QB wins guy.
Okay. Well, what are you then?
I'm a knower of ball. I'm the author of
Uh-huh.
authenticity. I'm the youngest in charge.
Right.
There are a lot of things
All right.
that I am.
Well, there
And
needs to be something that we can do to track this other than Lynnell Willingham says so.
If only there was a metric that was used that takes into account a bunch of different statistics and measures quarterbacks.
Let's
So
go
you
passer
pick either
rating.
rating or QBR. I think QBR is better, but pick one.
I hate QBR. I've always hated QBR.
Why do you hate QBR?
Passer rating. I don't like the criteria that goes into it. I think it's flimsy, and it's something that I've had to debate and talk
Can
about
I tell
for years.
you?
I hate QBR.
I
I like
think
passer
this-
rating better, though.
I think the Steelers, I think the Jets have a better offensive line than Pittsburgh.
Okay.
I think they have a better running
receivers.
back than Pittsburgh. I think they have a better wide receiver, number one wide receiver, that is. The depth of Pittsburgh with Pittman, I think, changes
All
that.
right.
But I think Geno's in position to play well coming up this year. And they're running with a last-place schedule. So that should
So
help
passer
them out
rating.
as well.
So Geno will have a
Passer
better
rating,
passer rating than Aaron Rodgers.
I think he'll have a better touchdown-interception ratio.
Okay, I'll take that bet. I think I'll take that. There, you heard it, D-Day. Touchdown interception ratio.
Let's do this. No,
Aaron Rodgers is going to have a better ratio than
Let's do
Geno
this.
Smith. I'm just trying to
Let's do this.
set
We're
the
gonna
parameters.
come with
here.
an odd number here. 5 things. Let's go with 5 things. I think Geno
5 things.
yards, touchdowns, QBR. That's 3 things. I think Geno will be better in them.
I don't like
in
QBR.
2 out of the 3
I'm not
things.
accepting QBR. I'm not accepting QBR.
Completion percentage. Now we
Sure.
need one more to make it uneven to go to 5. But I think
Interceptions.
Geno interception. I think Geno will be better than Rodgers in 3 out of those 5 categories.
So let's do this. Passing yards, completion percentage,
Mm-hmm.
touchdowns, interceptions, passer rating. Those 5.
Why are we going with passer
Whoever
rating
gets
over
3 out of the
QBR?
5. Passer rating's been around longer. Passer rating's a better
QBR is
metric.
but just because it's been around longer, that's why QBR is the better metric.
QBR's more
There's
flawed,
more
man.
data.
I don't like it. I'm not accepting QBR.
What makes QBR flawed?
It's literally
I'm
the better.
interested.
It's the better metric.
I disagree. I think passer rating's a better metric.
Are you like wagging
Why?
your finger?
I gave you 4. You chose 4. I chose 1. I'm saying passer rating's 1.
Fine, go ahead.
And then
Fine,
you get
passer.
the other 4.
Passer
There you go.
rating.
There you go. Let's go to Corey, who's in Baltimore. So we got to figure out what the actual bet is. You think about that as we hear from Corey. 310-840-4910. Geno Smith or Aaron Rodgers this year? Who would you rather have as your quarterback?
Man, you must have been on the debate team in middle school and high school, boy, because you will not let some things go, man. I'm gonna say neither one, man. Let me tell you
That's
something.
not the option, man. Come on.
Aaron Rodgers must have ate Lucky Charms every day of the season last year, man. The Baltimore Ravens damn near gave him the playoffs on the silver platter, man. He did, man. But the one thing I can sit up there and say, I'll give the slight edge to Aaron Rodgers, only for the simple fact that if he goes into Mike McCarthy's system, he knows his system. So that's the only way I'm going to sit up there and say that I'll give him the slight edge. Don't forget last year, Aaron Rodgers got rid of that ball within 2 seconds, man. They didn't even want him to hold. Exactly. So he never threw the ball past 20, past 20 yards. So we can't sit up there and say he has a zip or he can throw the deep ball because we never really seen it last year because he got rid of the ball too fast because that offensive line was terrible, man.
All right. I appreciate that.
It's fascinating.
So,
I just think
Geno Smith or Aaron Rodgers. He says neither. There we go. Appreciate that from Corey. We need to figure out what exactly somebody wins. Part of me wants it to be a Bryce Young jersey that you have to have and wear for a week. Part of me wants that to be the case.
You want to give me like a souvenir from a movie?
Something.
That's what a Bryce Young jersey represents. It's like a souvenir from a movie.
Honestly, I think part of the punishment is I just make you have to watch. You have to watch 5 movies of my choice, and then give movie reviews on the show during the week. I picked. Now I am adding one big qualifier. This is if Aaron Rodgers plays, because I'm not pretending to know that Aaron Rodgers is going to play. If he retires, it's null and void. But if he plays, he'll be.
You're saying a guy is better. Geno's better just for that reason alone. One guy is 110% committed to a team. The other thinks it's all about him per usual. So.
Yeah, well, he might be right. Nicholas is in Columbus, Ohio. 310-840-4910. I love that we're hearing from all corners of the AFC North. Let's go to Nicholas. What are your thoughts on Geno Smith versus Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, give me Geno Smith all day. I don't understand what the obsession is with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, you've seen Peyton Manning. He had a good year. The next year fell off. So you really don't know what you're getting with a 40-something-year-old quarterback from year to year.
Couldn't you argue by that logic at 35 that Geno Smith fell off last year? By that logic?
But he fell off, but he was in a horrible set of – he was on the worst team in the sport.
I'm just saying – I'm using his logic.
And 35's not 40. 35's not 40.
And Geno Smith's not Aaron Rodgers.
And it's not just 40, dog. He's going to be 43. He's going to be 43 when the season starts. Yeah. It's not 40. It's 43.
Yeah, exactly. That's a big difference from 35.
35. There's almost 10 years younger.
42. 42 when the season starts.
Same difference. He could fall off the cliff next year, and it wouldn't be a surprise because that's what quarterbacks do at that age. Nobody.
Are you acting like you wouldn't be surprised if Geno Smith wasn't bad next year? You're shocked. You're shocked Geno Smith's bad with the Jets? What are we talking about?
Since Geno Smith's resurrected his career, he's been good.
If Pittsburgh's fired, you think Aaron Rodgers is going to do better than 10-7 and win more than one playoff game next year?
No, I think he's going to be better than Geno Smith.
So what's the point? You might as well be 7-10. You might as well be 7-10. You might as well.
Then I think the Jets are going to be 5-12. I mean, the thing is, Aaron Rodgers is better than Geno Smith. I'm not saying Rodgers is going to win the MVP.
But Josh,
better than Geno Smith right now.
Josh, over the past, Josh.
Well, he was last year.
Josh, over the past 4 seasons, Geno Smith has been the better quarterback.
Thank you so much for the.
Over the past 4 seasons, Geno's been the better quarterback.
I agree, but Aaron Rodgers had the best season he's had in 5 years. You seem to believe in resurgences, right? Like, we can't factor in
resurgences.
We can't
for
factor
guys
into Geno Smith. Mm-hmm. We can't factor into Geno Smith pre-2013, 23, excuse me, because he was figuring it out and he was still developing at age 31. Right? Sure. But
hold on.
You're going to disregard the sample size before that.
At age 31.
No, because I kind of believe he's who he is, and he got surrounded with a good coaching staff and good receivers. I don't buy in Geno Smith, never have. Still don't.
How can you ignore what he did as a starter in Seattle, dog? Like, what about that was not?
I think he had one great year. I think he had one great year in Seattle. I think it's a blip. I think it's an anomaly.
When's the last great year that Rodgers is at? Great. You want to talk about great, and I know what you're referring to 22 as great. Last year was not a great year for Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, for his standard, maybe not, but for every other quarterback,
greatness
24
is
and 7
greatness,
with
dog.
65% completion.
Greatness is greatness. Geno in 2022 completed 70% of his passes, 4,300 yards, 30-11 touchdown to pick ratio. That's a great season. Aaron Rodgers throwing for how many touchdowns he threw last year? 20?
24 and
24? 24 and 7 is not a great year.
How many great years? How many great years did you say that Geno Smith had with the Seahawks?
I'm not going to say great. That was the one great year.
30 and 11, and then it was 20 and 9, 21 and 15, and 19 and 17. You tell me what the sample size says he is, or if that's an anomaly.
Over the last since 2022, who's throwing more touchdowns, Aaron Rodgers or Geno?
Geno. I mean, Aaron Rodgers was out for an entire season. What kind of metric is that?
Geno played half a year last year.
No, he didn't. He played in 15 games.
He was hurt, though. He got hurt throughout the course of the year.
Okay, whatever. 310-840.
He's playing on a horrible football team.
Okay, let's go to Carter from the Bronx. Geno or A-Rod?
Hey, bada bing, bada boom. Your boy Carlos the Truth. Mr. White Lightning, Joshy, I love you, but you're tripping on this one. Aaron Rodgers sucks more eggs than Lynnell on a meal Monday. I'm going with Mr. Chocolate Thunder, Lynnell Willingham. Give me Geno Smith, baby. Josh, you're letting your hatred for Lamar Jackson cloud your judgment, buddy. Aaron
What
Rodgers
does this have to do
garbage.
with Lamar?
He was gifted the AFC. Look, they were one field goal away from packing the bags and going to Cancun. You would have nothing to hang your hat on. Give me Geno Smith. Rodgers should go do ayahuasca in the desert and hang it up, man. Give me Geno all day, baby. Love your White Lightning, but this one goes to Chocolate Thunder.
My thing is, who does Aaron Rodgers think he is?
Do we like White Lightning as a nickname? I don't know. Thanks.
That's
Carter.
your nickname. It's for you to decide.
I'm asking you. I don't give myself nicknames.
I mean, I wouldn't go by White Lightning for obvious reasons. But here's my thing: there's this sense of entitlement that Rodgers has. And Art Rooney is senile, bro. Why the hell are you letting Aaron Rodgers hold up your plans at quarterback? Talk about some. Yeah, he'll let us know if he wants to play by the draft. At that point, wouldn't it be too late?
They don't have better options. They
do. Kirk Cousins is available, pal. He is the better option. He is
not.
Not even close. He's the better option.
You
could have signed Kyler.
Segment where it's Aaron Rodgers versus Kirk Cousins.
I would rather the Steelers trade for Anthony Richardson than wait on Aaron Rodgers, dog. It's stupid. It's going nowhere. It's like a one-night stand. There's no chance of this working out past this year. Why are we just wasting our time with this boob? And he's a jerk. He's a jerk.
Cousins. I know, but that's it. That's the part. You just don't like Aaron Rodgers. Just say that.
I actually was an Aaron Rodgers truther before you started glazing
I know,
him.
but not now. You don't like him. That's fine. But what I'm saying is when you start saying nonsense, like you take Kirk Cousins, who was 10 touchdowns, 5 picks, 18 touchdowns, 16 picks, 29 touchdowns, 14 picks. I mean,
hold on now.
Come on.
The further you go backwards, the better it gets for Kirk, pal. So don't try that. Over the past decade, Kirk has been a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers. Argue with somebody you love. All right, that was probably
We have to get to.
But no, man.
Let's do one more. Brandon in Chicago, just because I love this. Let's go to Brandon in Chicago.
Hey, we
Aaron
know
Rodgers,
how we
Geno
feel about
Smith.
Chicago. Y'all just keep Caleb Williams and be happy.
Come on, Brandon.
All right, fellas. Thanks for taking my call. Appreciate it. But
what's up, man?
Man, I hate even saying this, but I got to go with the discount double check dude, the guy that says he owns the Bears. I haven't seen Geno Smith throw like a 60-yard Hail Mary at the age of 41. He's going to be paired up with McCarthy. I never seen Geno do anything with like a free play, drawing guys offside and, getting a touchdown. Aaron Rodgers' IQ is, way higher than Geno's at this stage of his career. And who was he throwing to last year? Basically DK and Gainwell, and sometimes Freiermuth. If AJ wants to leave Philadelphia, put him on Pittsburgh. Let DK and AJ rumble on the field together, and man, that'll be a good team. They'll probably go 10-7 at least
wait
again.
Till the Steelers implode next year, dog. They're about to get put on my list. I got a hit list for 2026. The Detroit Lions, I wish nothing but bad things to.
Fernando
the Steelers
Mendoza,
are
Bryce Young.
Well, Bryce. Who is Bryce Young?
They're all.
We're talking about real NFL quarterbacks here, and you bring up Bryce Young.
See, he's on your list. I'm rooting for his demise.
the Steelers and the Lions. I got an AFC team that I hate and an NFC team that I hate, and that's who they are for the year.
One more. Chances in Alabama. What do you have, Chance?
Rodgers may be a little bit better to my eye, like on field, but what puts Geno over the edge is intangibles. It's the narcissism of Rodgers, the blaming of teammates, the criticizing everyone around him. He is God in his own eyes. He does no wrong. He's, don't stink. It's everyone else's fault. He's Mr. Perfect. He can do no wrong. So, if you want to argue that Rodgers is a little bit better on field, I won't argue that. But what puts it over the edge is what I just said, the intangibles and all the other stuff. Thanks.
Being likable matters, doesn't it? I'm just saying, and I can give a rat's ass who likes me, but being likable does matter a little bit. And you have the guy's book? Why would you want to get advice from Aaron Rodgers?
Ian O'Connor's book, not Aaron Rodgers'
Ian O'Connor's great.
Ian O'Connor.
I love me some Ian O'Connor.
That's what I'm saying. I can't wait to see.
I think we got another call coming in on this, so hold your horses here. I'm excited. I'm glad that this sparked a lot, and we didn't even really get to what we were supposed to get to, but I'm fascinated. Okay. I'm fascinated that we're actually split right down the middle on this. By the way,
this is the
people that we've heard
NFL,
from. It's
man.
split.
We just randomly stumble into a place because our guy is on second shift asking about the Steelers, and then I play Geno Smith sound. You're like, I take Geno Smith over Aaron Rodgers, and suddenly the entire United States of America wants to have decision 2026, Aaron Rodgers or Geno Smith. And let's go to what is described.
He's calling from Milwaukee. It's one of his minions, probably.
I'm saying this is Wisconsin's a very important state for electoral purposes. Let's go to Nick, who's in Milwaukee. Nick, your vote matters. Aaron Rodgers or Geno Smith?
Thank you, sir. Milltown 414. Aaron Rodgers is a 3-time MVP. That's all that needs to be said.
God, we're not talking about for career, pal. This is what I'm saying. The people in Milwaukee don't comprehend things well. They don't.
I think
the quarterback game is a mental game, and nobody plays it better than Aaron Rodgers. Maybe Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, but they're not in the league anymore.
Why is Aaron Rodgers no longer the quarterback of the Packers?
Preach, Nick.
Because he sucked at the end of his tenure.
Because they wasted they spent that first round pick and had to move on with Jordan Love.
What'd you say? He said they wasted.
Nick, go. Run, Nick. Just run. Run, Nick. Get out of here.
I'm
run.
telling you, them Milwaukee brothers. I once had a chick out.
You're doing so well.
Milwaukee people are unloyal. They're unloyal to a fault. Nick. This is the same sports town that once housed
about Giannis.
Rodgers and Giannis at the same time. Two of the most flip-floppy, me, selfish, egotistical maniacs in pro sports.
I was with Nick until the very end there. We have to hand out bets.
Wasted a pick.
I'm gambling again. And Graham's gambling. And weird but true. 310-840-4910. You can text us or call us. That's a call number and a text number. All that next on Westwood One Sports Night.
It was one of the greatest comebacks and shots of all time.
Mullins, long three. He did it. Oh, he did it. He hit it. He hit the long three-pointer.
Down 19 points. UConn upset Duke.
And the UConn Huskies score a four. An epic comeback from 19 points down.
And all of the madness was heard on the Westwood One Sports app.
I don't believe it.
We're your home of the NCAA tournament.
Unbelievable.
Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Westwood One Sports Night. Here's Josh Graham and Lynnell Willingham.
The amount of interest there is in Aaron Rodgers or Geno Smith honestly makes me want both of them to fail. Lynnell Willingham's over there. I'm Josh
What type
Graham.
of hating ass time are you on?
Says the biggest hater of them all.
I know what it is. You're hating on Geno and Rodgers. You want them both to fail. How about this? I guess I can't definitively tell you whether or not Geno is going to be better than Rodgers or vice versa. I know they'll both be better than the guy in Carolina that should be playing on stilts.
Care. You can't hurt me. You want to hurt me? Prevent my ability to talk about the NCAA tournament or March Madness on the show, which is what these callers are doing right now. It's hurting my feelings. I also have bets to hand out. I have one bet specifically. It's a baseball bet, and it's nerdy. Oh, you're going to hate it, but I love it.
I'm not a hater.
I'm going to make some money off it. You're not a hater. That's right. You love everybody and everything. Let's go to Ian, who's in New York.
I didn't say that now.
Ian.
I mean,
maybe this is Ian O'Connor. Maybe it's Ian Eagle. Maybe it's an Ian, not an Ian situation. Who knows? What's up, Ian? Where are you on Geno Smith versus Aaron Rodgers?
I hope it's Ian, the new little white rapper guy. He's fire.
Tell me it's Ian. Please be Ian.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers is a bad man, but in this case, it means I'd have to go with Geno. I'd have to go with Geno Smith on this one. I mean, I'd rather have Stafford or someone like that, but they're not part of the equation. But at this point of his career, like y'all have been talking about, I'd have to go with. I don't know if I can go with Rodgers on this one. I'd go with Geno.
Ian, can you remind us where you're calling from?
Yeah, New York.
Did I ever tell y'all how much I love the state of New York? I mean, there's literally not one of the 50 that get me.
Who's the team you root for? Who do you root for?
Oh, I'm a Saints fan.
Wait, brother.
Appreciate the call.
I actually feel horrible for you, Ian.
Who dat?
Who dat? Who day? True
Day. One of those two.
I just gave True Day a shout out on the air.
Cobra.
Wait till I tell my brother this.
Steelers fan. You could chime in on the YouTube chat as well. Westwood One Sports 9. Lifelong Steelers fan. I'm going to have to take another run with Rodgers. He won 10 here with a suspect O-line and nobody consistent around DK, but hoping to see them all roll with Howard, honestly. 310-840-4910. Text us, call us. Last call for phone calls. Lynnell Willingham, can I get to my gross, disgusting bet? Because that's what I do when I'm gambling again. And Graham's gambling.
Sitting back, count money all day, It's time for Graham's Gambling. Let's make some money.
Can I ask a question?
I'm going to need...
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm hijacked. I'm sorry. Real quick.
That's a question.
Did it start with it saying freaky man count money? Is that what that said?
I don't know. Let's kill it and then re-rack it.
Can we re-rack it? Because if that's what he said, I need to talk to somebody in production. Would you be a freaking man counting money?
We could just edit this out and post. It's not like we're live or anything, and we've got Drake Toll coming up in just a bit. Let's re-rack. I'm gambling again. I should probably say it right. I'm gambling again, and Graham's gambling.
Sitting back, count money all day, It's time for Graham's Gambling. Let's make some money.
I don't think that's what he said.
He's definitely saying freaking man counting money all day.
Okay, I might need Oliver to give me the thumbs up or the thumbs down on this bet here, because I'm betting baseball. And if I'm putting together a list of cities I don't want to play baseball in early April before it gets really warm, I'd say Kansas City's high up on the list. I like Taj Bradley, who's throwing for the Twins. I like Cole Reagans as well. And I see an over-under that's 9.5 runs, and I say that's too many. I think it's going to be whipping wind. I don't think it's going to be ideal temperature, ideal conditions, and I think with these two pitchers on the mound, 9.5 runs is too many. I'm going under 9.5 runs on the Twins and Royals at 2:10 in the afternoon Eastern Standard Time from Kauffman Stadium. There you go. Under 9.5. I told you it'd be gross. I told you it'd be disgusting. We're talking about Major League regular season unders that we're betting here, and that's what I'm doing, Lynnell, because I'm a fan of making money. How's you gonna fire off another Wembley the next time that Victor's out there?
I think I may just keep running the same parlay, honestly. It didn't hit by one steal. So anybody out there that wants to mock my Wembley, you'll have several more opportunities to bet on the greatest basketball player of all time the rest of the way. 2 made threes, 12-plus rebounds, 3-plus blocks, over 26.5 points. Spurs win by 10.5. You can run that against just about anybody because they're the best team in basketball right now. And then over 2.5 assists. My Wembley.
For the record, when you say the greatest player ever, does that mean when somebody comes up to you in casual conversation and says, who's the best, LeBron or Michael, you say Victor?
Yes.
Is that what you answer?
I've now reached that point in my my analysis of the alien.
Oh, boy. Before we get to weird but true, let's go to Tom, who's in Springfield, Massachusetts, home of the Basketball Hall of Fame.
The most irrelevant, home of the most irrelevant Hall of Fame that exists in pro sports.
Yeah, they just let, who was it that they let Amari Stoudemire in
and
this year?
And Amari Stoudemire Jr. too.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Let's go to Tom, who's at Springfield. Tom, where are you on Geno and A-Rod?
Yes. Well, I think you should definitely include one more category, average yards per throw attempt, because I watched Aaron Rodgers, and most of his passes were behind the line of scrimmage or within 2 or 3 yards. I think in that game I only counted one pass over 8 yards. So that's an important statistic. And anytime you throw the quarterback under the bus,
when he was really good too.
Yeah,
I
but
definitely remember him
even
throwing
I
the ball
could
down the
complete a
field to
pass
Devontae
behind the
Adams.
line of scrimmage. And anytime he throws
I think we lost Tom.
I think
points from his rating.
Oh, there he goes. Tom,
So,
appreciate the
can I peel the
appreciate the
curtain
call. I
back?
hope you get inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame too, because they let everybody in.
We probably will be.
Yes,
honestly.
Lynnell.
I've been ripping off of my good pal Chris Russell for like 2 years now, using his NFL Pro login and credentials, and he changed his damn password. So like I can't look at the air yards per attempt right now. Chris Russell, I know you're not up right now. I may send this to you. Give me your new password, pal. I would love to know the air yards per attempt for Aaron Rodgers throughout the duration of his career. Because this idea that this is just always who he's been. He had Devontae Adams going for 1,700 yards. I guarantee you that wasn't on him throwing checkdowns, pal. Like,
Who was he throwing to in Pittsburgh? DK Metcalf and Pat Fryermuth?
Listen here, freaky man, count money. I believe that moving forward, he will be the better quarterback, he being Geno.
Okay.
And
what do you have in weird but true? Oh, sorry.
Oh, no.
We've been on it for an hour. That's not enough.
I know.
You had more?
I know. Well, in tonight's weird but true, I'm going to defer to Denton Day. Denton Day, what do you have?
Really?
Uh-oh. What do you have in weird
Wait,
but true?
why do you say it really like that?
Yeah, why do you say it like that?
Wait, hold on.
I was talking to you.
Aaron Rodgers' average complete air yards in 2025 was 3.3, dog? And you trying to look me in my
Yeah,
face?
that was already on the...
You make sure when you go to Indianapolis, you come back with some common sense. That's crazy as hell.
I'm confused.
That's
What's
l-
happening?
that's
Are we doing weird but
last
true?
among
Is
everybody.
it D-Day? Is it Lynnell? Who's doing
That is a weird but true. How about the weird but true that the NFL is kind of like putting something in place to completely undermine the replacement officials instead of just letting the regular officials work?
Yeah, that rule, basically there's going to be an eye in the sky if they do go with replacement officials, which seems very likely. I don't know what's up with the NFL trying to play hardball with the officials. They're so important. They're so important. Even though we take them for granted and we always are criticizing their calls, even at the end of Bills and Broncos in the postseason, I still would rather them over replacements. So here's how little confidence they have in the replacements. They passed a rule, the 32 owners in the NFL, or however many owners there are, passed a rule saying that that they have the ability in New York to overturn any call that the replacement official makes. I think that's the craziest thing ever. Now, they're supposed to be saved for instances in which it changes the outcome of a game potentially, but we know how this is going to go. Any egregious call, the eye in the sky hopefully is going to fix it. And if that's the case, just keep the officials on the sideline and give me the replacements permanently if New York's just going to be able to change any call. I just want correct calls more than I care about pitch framing for catchers and all of that. I want correctness, accuracy. That's all. Weird but true.
Is correctness a word?
Correctness? I mean, come on.
I'm just checking. Yeah, it is.
Is it?
I don't think I've heard correctness before.
That was a gamble that you just took, looking that up. You really are gambling again. Huh?
Freaky man count money.
Freaky man count. So can we confirm? That's what he said, right?
I don't think I
Freaky
heard
man
that. Can
count
we hear it
money
one more
all
time?
day.
I didn't hear that word starting with an F. Can we hear it one more time to try to
What
figure
else
it
would he
out,
be
get to
saying?
the bottom of this? Let me see.
Sitting back, count money all day, you know.
It's time for Graham's Gambling.
Can we just get it one more time? Just really listen to the first syllable. It's
I
freaky.
don't hear
It's
F. It sounds like
it's
an S.
Seeky?
Okay.
Streaky man counting money? Maybe that's what it is.
I don't know. I'm
He's
trying to figure it out
probably
myself.
saying sitting there counting money.
Sitting there counting.
That's what I hear. I heard
Sitting
an
and
S.
freaky? You telling me that I just can't hear?
I heard an S.
I mean,
An
freaky
S.
is way funnier.
It is
Because,
funnier,
like,
but
what
I
is
don't
he-
know.
Mr. Popular,
Can we hear it one more time?
Sitting back, count money all day, you know.
It's time for
Yeah,
Graham's Gambling.
I think sitting back here all day making money, you know.
Yeah,
I
you
hear
guys
sitting.
are just the worst.
I
You
hear
probably can't
S.
read lips either. I mean, to think that he said all that sitting back here counting money all day, he didn't say that many words.
I hear an S to start it, not an F.
Streaky.
Not
I
an
think my
F.
bet is. I think my second answer is probably right. Streaky man counting money all day because maybe he's streaky.
One
with
more.
His bets.
One more, and this is it. I promise, Oliver.
Sitting back, count money all day, you know.
It's time
I
for
hear something
Count
different
money
every
all
time.
day, you know.
Here's a better question. Why do we have imaging where none of us understand what's being said?
I
That's
do
the
not.
thrill of it. It
I
is
like it,
great
by
art.
the way.
It leaves it up to interpretation of the audience.
Interpretation. That's what it is. We can all wonder.
Stinky man
You know?
counting money all day.
Stinky man.
We also have a
making
beef
money
going on in the chat right now, which I think is hilarious.
Is there? Who's
Oh,
winning
yeah.
that beef? Is
Got
it
it from
going
Bronx.
better than our on-air beef? I don't know. You got to find
doesn't
out.
have beef.
Get in the YouTube chat. You know? Get in the YouTube chat. Westwood One Sports
Wait.
Night. That's where it's happening.
Carter, I'm about to fry your ass up. Your name is Carter, Carter. The fact that
No,
you
it's Carter.
typed it Carta is ridiculous. We
Carter.
know that's
No hard ER.
egregious.
Carter from the Bronx.
Magna
What
Carta.
does he
holy
say again, D-Day?
Bada bing, bada boom. It's your boy Carter. Bada hit you with truth.
All right. Let's get ready to close this show because I have a flight in less than 3 hours. Not a joke. To get to
make out of it.
Indianapolis. What do
Make
you
out of the
have
box.
to put this show to bed, D-Day?
We're talking about Lynnell Willingham's favorite rapper of all time. Next.
Drake!
The weather is heating up, and so is the sports calendar. We are your home of the Final Four, the Masters, and the NFL Draft, taking you inside the sports you care about. Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Westwood One Sports Night. Here's Josh Graham and Lynnell Willingham.
No.
Josh Graham, Lynnell Willingham. One final segment. Why are you on the show right now? You should have this actually made no sense for you to do the entirety of the show today. When you could have had the option to leave early, a segment early. I could have closed this out. But
So
you're
I
just a
have
trooper. He's a team player, baby.
I have a 5:30 a.m. flight that's leaving Greensboro, America.
5:30 in Greensboro. What a banger.
Towards Indianapolis, where my hope is to get to Indianapolis and be in place in time to be on Black and Abdallah around noon. That's the hope, that I'm there with Black and Abdallah around noon. And then doing the show at night. Like right now, I'm getting dressed up right now because I dress up when I go on planes.
You were just
Got my
half
fit
naked
check.
on the stream.
Fit naked. Got a fit check. if you're watching on YouTube or on X, got my Jordans on. Got my J's
You're
on.
gonna fall.
I almost did fall right there. I also got this pullover. Sick.
You go crazy
That's
with the
what we're
pullovers, dog. So when it comes to the pullover, right? Because I think I'm about to start adding it.
My pullover game strong.
Pullover game strong, pull out game not as strong. Shout out to Baby Daniel. I love the fact that when you do the pullover bit, is the collar supposed to peak? Is it supposed to peak?
Let me put it on real quick. While Lynnell, I'm gonna have D-Day share our put it to bed story while I put on my the rest of my fit.
There we go.
I'm way more interested in him taking his clothes off and putting his clothes on. What? You're not?
Wow. Like that is going to be replayed in the District of Columbia, a place where we have very strong reputations. Denton did not mean what he just said.
Oh, come on. You know that 5 a.m. hour is not us. That's when we play the jokes. We got to talk about Lynnell Willingham's favorite rapper of all time, J. Cole, trying to make yet another run at professional basketball.
Man,
playing in a Chinese basketball league.
His little light-skinned ass doesn't want to. He wants to do everything but engage in rap battle. Like, it's so annoying. He wants to compete in everything except for what he gets paid the most money to do. J. Cole, do better. I know North Carolina loves him and y'all stand for him. I was about to say something actually super jacked up, and I'm glad I kept it to myself. Am I allowed to say it?
Sometime.
It's 2:49 a.m. Eastern time. Brother, all the money you making, I would have got some damn braces, Slim. I'll be very honest with you. I know he marketed it. I know, and he made a lot of money off of it. It's great. I would have got braces.
Would you say the same thing to Michael Strahan's face?
I have a gap.
I know. Michael Strahan could fix his teeth if he wanted to.
It's like a brand,
a gap is a brand. Thank you.
It sounds like it's J. Cole's thing, too.
No, J. Cole's thing is being passive-aggressive.
See, you make fun of me for liking Workout. It's a great song. I don't know why
the fact
you
that that's
do
your
this to me.
favorite J. Cole
It's my
song
favorite
is
J. Cole
egregious.
song. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, it's fire.
You're so off, dude.
Do you think Drake Cole bumps to? I like this
Can I
bit
be
now
honest?
where whenever music comes up in this segment, I just ask if Drake Cole listens to Workout or listens to J. Cole at all.
I don't think J. Cole. I don't think Drake Toll, which actually rhymes with J. Cole, by the way. Drake Toll, J. Cole. I don't think Drake listens to music. I was about to say something so wild.
Drake might actually know ball, because the first time that I talked to Drake, it was right as he was starting launching the network here. And he said he was taking off the day that we were launching together on New Year's Eve. And I asked why, and he said he was coming to North Carolina to go to the Avett Brothers New Year's show. That's my favorite band. So he might actually know.
Is it Avett or Avett?
Avett.
I think it's Avett.
I don't know that he knew who Marvin Gaye was, though.
I know Scott Avett.
He doesn't know
so I'm
Marvin
pretty sure
Gaye
it's him.
or Luther Vandross?
Yeah.
He definitely
we
doesn't
learned
know
that.
Luther Vandross.
Little Anita?
Yeah, he probably doesn't know One Shining Moment.
We
who
can set this
sings
party
that.
off right. Bada bee, bada bee, bada bee, bada bee.
Probably very small bag on D'Angelo.
She said she wasn't ready for the world. Is no one going to pick up what I'm doing? Anybody that's listening on radio, it's one urban man and three beautiful Caucasic men. And I just sang out
Suburban
Marvin
Kings.
Gaye in the song. Yeah, Suburban. I just sang out lyrics to a song that you all were supposed to finish. She said she wants some Marvin Gaye, some Luther Vandross.
In response
a
to
Little Anita.
that, somebody might be saying, "What's going on?"
Set this
that
party off right. Get a beat.
Okay, then.
Sorry, I was talking over to you while you were giving lyrics, so I didn't pick up on it. That's on me.
I'm sorry. No, that's on me. Here's a guy who
Oh, can I give you a tease for
I was going to sing
Indianapolis?
Drake really hard, but I'm not going to because I feel like I
Can I
should
give you
have
a
like a
tease?
regular conversation with him first.
The Indiana people need to settle down with the hoop state stuff because they have nothing on North
Oh
Carolina.
my! You don't even have a head coach. At least they have a coach.
No. I'm not talking about the school. I'm talking about the state. I'm saying Indiana calls itself the hoop state. This might be Thursday's program. You know how if you go to a big city on the side of the road, you got somebody with the megaphone shouting out, telling people about Jesus Christ? You know those people? That might be me in Indiana with the megaphone saying, Indianapolis Indiana's not the real hoop states. It's North Carolina.
Fun fact that may or may not be related. I once got laid on a megabus.
How's that related in any way?
Because you said mega.
Megaphone. Like
yeah.
You got mega something.
Anything to add to that story?
About me getting laid on the megabus?
Yes.
No. Nothing else. Nothing else.
I mean, I could. It was on the megabus.
I'm sorry.
I can understand.
I want to zing Drake. I want to zing Drake, but like I know that if I'm going to get an email.
Are you talking about the rapper Drake or Drake Toll?
I'm talking about Drake Toll. About how
Come
I think
on,
he doesn't.
Something.
About how I think.
Why are you anti-Drake? Whether it's Drake Toll and
I'm not anti-Drake.
rapper.
First of all, I am the biggest Drake Toll fan in this room. I'm in a room by myself. I'm joking, Drake. I love you, dog. Drake's a dog. Come on now. I'm zinging him because it's just funny.
Zing him.
When you're as handsome as Drake is, you should be able to take any joke that comes your way.
Yeah. That's the
but I'm not gonna zing. I'm not gonna zing him. No, it's not the zing. I'm gonna save the zing. Am I really Am I a biatch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm not, and I'm just not gonna make the zing. I'm not gonna zing him.
Boo! Everybody boo Lynnell.
Because I was wondering if Drake has ever listened to music before.
Oh my gosh, what an awful way. There's a dead fish in the middle of the room now, and we just all have to deal with it for the next 15 seconds. Unbelievable.
Well, Josh, have a safe flight, my friend. Maybe you should listen to some Drake.
You guys. Yes. And then Black and Abdallah. And then Westwood One Sports Night. Enjoy. Talk to you soon.
This is Westwood One Sports.